Whoa.
Close.
I couldn't do
You're
it.
close.
I was
Good job,
laughing way
guys.
too hard.
Wow.
When the night goes down in the city.
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Andrea, you look cool right now.
You do.
Oh, thank you.
Dare I say you look awesome.
Oh.
Wow, look at this DG right here.
So they were taking photos, and I was like, "Are you done taking photos? Can I eat this pizza
Dude,
now?"
I'm telling you, dude, anytime people are we're preparing DiGiorno's for these like advertisement shoots or whatever, god damn, like it doesn't matter how much I've eaten, it's like I have to take a slice or two.
I know.
And that's just like totally not even like, I mean, you know, sure the company's getting paid, but like no money's going into my pocket. That's how you know I'm being honest about it.
It's true. DiGiorno's is delicious.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious.
I'm not getting any of that money either,
Yeah.
but I'll say it because
It's
it
very,
is.
very good. Very good.
How are you doing, Andy?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We've been dealing with a lot of computer issues.
That's
A
unfortunate.
lot of computer problems. But yeah, we were supposed to put up an episode of Borderlands 3 party mode today
yeah.
for Patreon people.
Right.
And it was supposed to be done and edited, and I just kept blue screening.
Oh no.
And I was like, man, fucking Premiere sucks. This thing sucks. And then it got to the point where the computer wouldn't even boot up.
Uh-oh.
And then it was like, seems like a bigger thing than just Premiere. And then Kevin happened to come back to the studio. And then we looked into it. It's like, oh, there's like a registry error like on this PC, and things are fucked right now.
Oh
So
no.
it's like, it's really bad. So Kevin like reformatted everything and was able to luckily salvage a lot of footage off of the drive that we had. Cause like we had Chloe in last week doing the up and comer stuff with us. And she recorded a bunch of party modes that were like, that could have been lost as well. Like it was really scary for a second. I was like, fuck, I think we lost everything. And luckily we did not lose everything.
That's the worst.
Is that a Connect Between 3 and 5 shirt? It is. This is the new KFAF shirt you can buy in a couple days or a couple weeks.
It'll be up next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So this
Next
is
Tuesday?
the winning board of where I beat Nick. So you can see like I connected between 3 and 5 right here.
Maybe that's also the day that you'll be able to buy those cyan blue hoodies that we're bringing back.
Yeah.
Maybe. Don't hold me to it. Except maybe do.
night go down
Definitely lights.
in the
City.
in the kitty.
You've clearly not been to enough Giants games because they played at the end of
I've never
every
been to
Every
one.
game.
I've never been to one Giants game.
You've never been to one Giants game?
No.
What the heck?
I know.
How about that?
We're supposed
fix that.
to go to the Braves Giants game that one weekend. I was like, oh, I just lost track of it.
I know. There was something else that happened that week that was like a lot. I don't remember what. We should go before the end of the season. Mr. Yasmin wants to know if we're going to talk about the new Emilia Clarke movie on Screencast. We are, because I'm pretty sure I know what the
Terminator Dark
whole
Fate.
thing is of it, but
Why is there so much cheese in here?
because it's
'Cause
a
there's
cheese
cheese in the
stuffed
crust.
crust.
Didn't you know it's not delivered? It's DiGiorno.
God, we have to post those.
Too much cheese.
Did you see
The
this,
outtakes.
I
the
love
thing
it.
that I
Yes,
did?
it's very good.
Thank you.
I will
teach me
say,
how to do the tones and
I will
bars.
say lower the beep though of the tones.
I don't know how to do that.
I always like lower them down.
Okay. Well, it took me a real long time to figure out how to add them in there, so I'll work now.
Yeah, I'll show you.
on-
I can show you how to do it. It's super
lowering
easy.
Turn the beep around. Love to hear percussion.
Passion.
Love to hear percussion. That's
Percussion.
Shut the fuck up. That's
That's-
the actual
That's
lyric.
the line.
Oh my god! This whole time I thought it was like I love to hear the passion or something.
Percussion.
Wow.
I've heard it misinterpreted as something about pants a lot. Love to take my pants. I don't know. There's some, I've heard it. I know it's percussion.
The passion. That's what I thought it was. Oh my god! You're freaking me out right
Love
now.
the Great Depression.
The 1920s.
Oh my gosh.
Andy, how excited are you for CNE this weekend?
Very excited,
Toronto,
Greg.
you
Very
need
excited.
to.
Very
Train for 12
excited
hours.
to just hang out with you. I think especially since this seems like a lot less kind of similar to other cons we've been to.
100%.
This is just like this is a fair.
It's a state fair, trying to get their game and stuff off the ground.
You need to
I'm
go
for
visit
it.
the Magic Trick Dogs for me.
I'm down.
There's
I'm
also
super down.
apparently a Medieval Times there. So because I asked for beer and wings.
I'm very excited. Yeah, this
Somebody do that, I think.
this seems just like so like out of the like mold. What's the word I'm looking for?
That's
breaking
right.
the
Out of the
mold.
routine.
It's just I'm just so tired right now.
How's Borderlands coming in there?
So like we fixed all the computer stuff, but I think Premiere's still being a bitch. It's the thing where like these files are so big, and when I scrub through the footage, I see my CPU go from 4% to 100 usage.
This is
and normally
why
when it stays there,
I
it
tell
just
them to let me
blue
break
screens.
it up. When I went to the event, we're going to talk about my hands-on during the show, but they wanted to do a start and stop record every 60 minutes, and I was like, no.
That's huge.
That file's way too big.
Yeah.
I would prefer it every 10 to 15 max.
But it's also the devices we use, the Shoguns. They record. We have them recording at the lowest possible fidelity, and it's still gigantic. So like, I think me and Greg's gameplay combined is like 360 gigs or something. And
That sounds right.
It's like an hour of footage maybe, and it's just ridiculous. So I think that's kind of what's causing some of the Premiere issues, but also the computer just totally had like a meltdown. Very scary.
Is that on maximum?
Yeah.
No.
Now it is.
Yeah, let's get some Beyonce hair happening up in here. It is hot. I was
Yeah,
going
it's
to
gonna be
wear
like 80.
jeans up here today, and then I was like, it's pretty warm. I should check the weather, because that studio gets real hot in the afternoon. It said 86 degrees in San Francisco.
I can feel it when I
Unheard
wake
of.
up. Like I put up an additional layer of blinds in my room, like of curtains, to cover up. Because Andrea, I was dealing with this issue in the morning where these curtains I have up have these big hoops in them,
Right?
right? And
That go over the curtain rod?
The sun would peek in just through those hoops. So I'd be asleep and like I would just feel like these beams of light like very concentrated on my face. I'm like,
Sounds
oh
like you
my
didn't
God.
put your curtain up high enough.
Yeah, I didn't put them up high enough. So then I put additional ones that are even higher than that. So now it's double curtained and it's
But it's
extra
good.
dark in my room.
Do you have the blackout curtains on the inside?
Yeah. But it's gotten to the point where I feel like it's retaining heat also.
Oh, yeah.
And so like that, I can feel it in the morning. Like this morning I woke up, I'm like, all right, it doesn't feel very cold. And I got a feeling it's going to be one of those days. And I was like, hey, Google, what's the weather today? And they're like, the forecast at high is 79 degrees. Like, oh, fuck. That sucks, dude.
The reason why this is a big deal for everybody watching is that
I think they know the spiel.
yeah, very few people in San Francisco have air conditioning because
Watch
it's
it.
just
Someone
not
will
that.
say they don't. They'll be, what are they bitching? 79 degrees. I'd kill for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
80
no,
degrees, oh, it's heaven. I'm from Texas. It's 110 right now, pussies. No, but like you have air conditioning in Texas. Like
Yeah.
we don't,
Yeah.
you know.
And,
Why
like,
don't you get air
houses-
conditioning? Because we
houses
need it
are
like once a year.
insulated.
Well,
other
and also,
places.
and also, like most of the apartments and houses are not set up for an air conditioning unit, and like the windows aren't set up to have an individual, and like you can't just cut a hole in the wall, to run tubing. It's just like it's not as easy as it may sound to just like get air conditioning. It's actually really difficult.
It was tragic. We've had like kind of like a fan for the last couple of years, and it broke. Like it finally died, like last week. Of course, right before this, and after a couple of days, I was like, oh yeah, I should probably get a replacement. And then I got lazy, forgot about it, and
It's easy to forget.
I know. And now I'm
thank you.
super regretting it.
No, I'm good.
Because I'm having the same problem where. Even just waking up, I was like, "Oh, it's warm," and I checked my phone, and it was like already 70, and it was like 8 in the morning. I was like, "Fuck, man, this is gonna be bad today."
It's crazy because I could have sworn that there were times last year where I was using my heater every night,
right.
and now like I haven't had to use my heater since like maybe January or something like that. Where like at night it gets down to 45, 50.
Yeah, because again, it's like our apartment will get super hot. But it can also get really, really cold.
The apartment
is
does
really
a great
cold.
job at holding in all the heat throughout the day. So like up until 3 p.m., it doesn't feel very hot because it's kind of like retained the coolness from the night before. But then once it gets hot, it'll stay hot until like fucking midnight because it's just holding over all that heat,
Yeah.
Get in here, Fran.
Okay, so I see a couple questions in here. I see my name quite a bit. So here, let me try to rapid fire these. Is there any chance I can host Internet Explorers with Nick before I leave? I will consider it, but he has to personally invite me to come on the show.
Damn it, Fran.
Second, have you gotten a premium Disneyland experience yet with John and his new connections? No, because I've been here and preparing for the move, and he's been gone. He was in Asia, now he's in Europe. He's just, out there making deals.
Wheeling and dealing, as they say.
Exactly.
He was like, first act, kill DuckTales. No more digital sales of DuckTales.
Does KF use Shogun instead of Elgato, asks Chance Carter. Yes, we use Shogun devices because when you record in, I forget the format, I think it's like M4V. I forgot the format, but if you record an MP4 And if you have a crash, an MP4 is not recoverable. If you record in the format that Shogun's record in, it'll keep whatever you had until the crash occurred. And that's like, it's kind of like, is that worth it, having a file that's going to be 15 times bigger than an MP4?
Yeah.
You kind of like weigh that against each other. Well, when it comes to us, it does, because we don't always have the opportunity to record. When it comes to like people like at Funhouse or Achievement Hunter who have constant recordings nonstop,
Right.
like, let's just re-record. We're already doing that or whatever.
right.
But we run a very different business here, so.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter for like us at What's Good Games, because our business is predominantly podcast, and the video component of our business is pretty small.
Yeah.
So if we were to get a file corrupted or lose something, which has happened to us at least once, we are just like, well, that sucks.
That does
Guess
suck.
it's not going up.
No,
Moving
you don't
on.
want that.
Yep.
Gotta have that redundancy. Yeah. How do we get talking video tech? I joined at just the right time.
Oh, because my computer had a
subject.
meltdown.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What I
Not
really need to
fun
know,
subject.
though, is about this Shakespeare.
I didn't mean to bring this out.
Shakespeare
I
over
actually
there,
have
huh?
my mug of water, and I grabbed my little juice drink here.
To lift or not to lift? That is the question.
I know. It is stupidly
Tis
called.
nobler to put up the LBs.
Are thy thighs as wide as the day is long?
So I don't know why they called this thing Shakespeare. It's a
Oh,
sphere.
no,
and
it's because it's a great name.
You're
putting your shakes in there.
Well,
There's
I
probably
get
a
that,
spear in
but
there.
do you think that's branding for like muscle gym heads? Like, you know what I mean? I get the pun, but like,
Yeah.
it perfectly describes it. It's a shaker, and the inside of it is a sphere. So the whole idea is that it just sort of goes around in circles. Nothing gets caught in corners.
Got it.
It actually works really well. But
Whoa, Ben Ernst is here. Is that the Ben Ernst from RT Podcast? From RT like broadcast?
Benjamin Ernst. Go really close to the screen. You can see his face.
He's making a
he
joke
says
about
it's 110 in
Yeah,
Texas.
so I'm
you
assuming
wimps.
it's him. I'm assuming
But
it's him.
again,
we
I've just never
finally
seen
crossed
Ben.
over.
I've never seen Ben's name. I've never seen it written out as Benjamin, I guess.
I can meet you
Kind of
there.
throwing me for a loop.
but again,
what's the photo?
He probably has air conditioning.
Well, he put the sarcasm little symbol at the end. Yeah.
That's the air conditioning.
He knows
symbol.
we're joking.
Slash
Okay.
S.
I
Ben
didn't know
sauce
Slash S
melting at
was,
the RT industry party at RTX. Can handle it.
My girlfriend wants to go get ramen, so I'm heading out. Have a great podcast, guys. Watch the podcast with your girlfriend. What are you doing? Share these moments
If
with
she
her.
doesn't want to watch
Yeah,
it with
Nano.
you, dump her.
What if
ass.
she eats a ramen? No, never mind. I was going to say something bad.
No.
Raunchy? Was it gonna be sexy?
No, I was
It's
going to
only
say,
in
like,
the
what if she
pre-show.
chokes on the
What if-
ramen?
Oh,
Jesus,
that's
God,
not that
fine.
bad.
I didn't think you were that way.
Yeah,
He didn't
ramen
say
can,
die.
it can
He
be
didn't choke.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Watching this episode, not dangerous, though.
That's true.
Gotta know how to eat. Slurp your ramen. Tim's here. I'm gonna change. I actually forgot my real water instead of Shakespeare.
Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo-doo. I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Just want you to know that.
I appreciate that.
I know our relationship's been on the skids lately.
Wait, it has?
No.
Is that the rumor on the street that we've got beef?
No. Oh, I did have a question for you. Gary
Yes.
brought it up today because Gary doesn't look at his emails, so he's like, I'm hosting one of the Andrea's final games. I'm like, yes, don't worry about it. It's on the thing. Have you announced your timetable for leaving? Is that public anywhere yet?
I've said it's going to be mid to late September.
Okay.
So we can announce the date whenever you want.
It's fine. It's your call. It was just Gary. So he was like, what? I'm like, it's on. Check your email when you get home. I don't know what's out there now.
Yeah, no, we can announce it on Games Daily tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, do it. Do it. Right now, I'm looking at the menu for Einstein in Toronto because it was recommended to me for beer and wings.
Well,
apparently,
then.
there's a buffalo poutine. There it is.
You just mean Tim?
What?
Yet, Mr. Yasmin, I have not seen the new Wheel of Time casting. I don't follow that kind of stuff very closely.
I forget what's Wheel of Time.
It is a fantasy novel series by an author named Robert Jordan that was finished with Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson, a very prolific fantasy author of one of my favorite new series, the Stormlight Archives.
Gotcha.
It's basically fantasy Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, the Wheel of Time is a very epic fantasy. It's 14 books long, probably like 5 or 6 books too many. There's a couple in the middle there that are just really slow and do some additional character work that I found redundant. But overall, a fantastic series, but you got to commit and you got to be super into fantasy. It's got some of the
for
best
the-
female fantasy characters of any series I've ever read.
Nice, okay.
And what I like about it is that it doesn't go to a gross sexual place like George R.R. Martin's work does. Like for some reason, he always needs to include someone getting raped or like really gratuitous violence
Writers
against
do
women.
that, yeah. Like
And
Stephen
I'm just
King
like,
loves
why?
scat. I don't know why, but there's always something with poop in his books.
Yeah.
There is. It's a thing. It's very bizarre.
So that's what one of the major reasons why I like it is because they have some really cool female characters that don't need to get raped.
That's a good change of pace from George R. R. Martin there.
Yeah,
Making some good
he's
choices
bad.
there,
But let me
Brandon.
look up what the casting is. Wheel
Ooh, yeah, that's a nice breeze.
it is.
of
when
Time
it hits you.
casting.
See, it's good that you don't have it all the time. Then you can appreciate it.
Variety. That seems like a good source.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
so this,
All right.
was this already known for a while? That they picked it up?
They know it's been known that Amazon has been working on it.
Because I thought you mentioned it. God, Ignacio's coming to San Francisco at some point? Is that what's happening?
he's doing
Joshua
a semester at
Stradowski's been
SF
cast
State.
in the role of
I told him where he
Randall
lived. He's gonna
Thor.
come hang out.
Which one is that? which one is that guy?
Yeah, good.
Why don't they
good
put
read
their
on that,
names?
Jonathan.
I don't know who this guy is. He's the lead dude though, Rand. This guy.
Oh, y'all have laptops today. I feel very
With a laptop.
underwhelmed.
I could see it.
The laptop.
I could see it.
I was gonna say dudes.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't. I mean, I'm gonna have to obviously wait to see him embody that role because like it's tough when you just get a casting notice and you're like, can that person actually like fulfill that role that you've created in your head? Especially like 14 books worth. And Rand is such a complicated character. I actually recently reread book 1 because it had been a really long time since I read The Eye of the World, and I forgot just like how far those characters go along that journey, and it's really impressive the narrative arcs that were built over so many years. Really fantastic literary work.
Nasser says Timmy went to SF State, right? I did.
You regret it, right?
Don't recommend it much, but you know what I mean. It was there.
You had to go
Wait, is
somewhere.
that where he's going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Chipotle near it.
There's an Ike's now in the food court,
There's
right?
an Ike's
Yeah.
in the food.
Right there,
That's the
enough.
one right by Saramonte there?
Right
Right,
by
right
Stone
here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the
I
one,
meant to say Stone.
It's the one your apartment backs up to.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Number
what's the-
306, am I right?
What's the college location? Maybe it's an extension over on Parnassus and all that. Like, what is that area?
That's UCSF.
That's UCS.
Yeah,
That's what I was wondering.
UCSF is the one that's near
Like-
the Hall of Flame, right?
No,
That's UC. That's
That's
SF
SF
State.
State. Oh, got it.
I'm standing in the Hall of Flame.
See, I didn't go to school out here. And I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
I see it.
And the burger's
Tim
gonna
doesn't
be
recommend
ready.
Every single school I went to was
Man, this
along the
background
same
looks
bus
fucking
line
sick.
from elementary
This does
to
look really
college. All right, are you guys ready for this beautiful
I'm sure
show?
it'll still be good, Ignacio.
Andy, your little
Oh yeah,
Overwatch
Tim
bit.
just no.
That's just Tim being Tim.
I'm
Exactly.
rendering right now.
Ignacio's
okay.
Thanks,
Like I have a
son."
lot to render.
Okay,
So I'm just
okay.
chilling. I got
Cool.
nothing to do.
Great.
Do you have a lot to remender?
Remender?
Remender. He's a comic artist or writer.
Yeah. Okay, again, pre-show people. This is another one of those episodes where there's an embargoed thing that we're going to talk about pretty early on that unfortunately today we can't talk about. But tomorrow morning we can. So these episodes are going to go live. Are you prepped in any way for that?
Can you give me a minute?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that.
Yep, sorry. All
Andy, are
good.
you
Oh, he's
prepared
gotta
to go
mute us?
on a bender.
For a bit of it. Yeah, it won't be too long. It won't be as long as the last time we did this.
Chicken
I forgot
tender.
what that was.
Put it in the blender.
All right, we'll just have
Watch
to
it
let,
round, spin around to oblivion.
we'll just have to let Cool Greg know.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have the Sega, Greg?
I sure do. Don't worry about it. I'm hiding in a very special place.
Oh, God.
All right, I'm good to go.
Totally good? You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Then let's get going. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 234 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week, I consider getting rid of the number altogether.
Oh, why?
Just because, like, I feel like we get to, like, once
Doesn't
you get to
matter
this,
anymore?
Yeah, things have changed. You know what I mean? Like, recently we got rid of the number for Internet Explorers and for KFAF. And that makes sense because those are just more like,
The
I don't want
data.
anyone to be intimidated on jumping in.
Sure.
You know, it's like, for those shows, definitely, it's all kind of like, you can come in anytime. It's
Serialized.
just-
I mean, there's a
it's just
date
for
and they're
fun.
organized, right? When
Yeah,
you go
that's
to
the thing. It's like you
iTunes
can still
or
do
anywhere.
upload date. You can still do any of that stuff. Like there still would be a number associated with it. It just wouldn't necessarily have to be called out.
I'm with you in terms of sentiment. I think there will be a major like lashback if you do it.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
Well, that's
I can't
change in
find
general. That's
anything
change in
change in
And
general.
that's the thing is like with the Kind of Funny podcast and Gamescast, I've kept the numbers forever because
Yeah.
it's like Games Daily's not numbered. It's dated because that makes more sense for a daily news show. You know what I mean? But for this, I don't know. I've been thinking because 234, how many people are not listening to this because they're like, ugh, I don't want to jump on now.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It's like comic book.
I see what you
You
mean.
want,
I
you want
do.
that
I
number one.
understand that.
Maybe we'll just start over at some
I
point.
feel like people should
The
know.
all new Kind of Funny Gamescast.
It's not
do
like
it,
it's
yeah.
a
Number
narrative.
Just do volume, reboot it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, this is the first
Season
episode.
Gamescast Volume 2.
I mean, this would be a
Episode
great
1.
spot to end it on.
Just
2,
right now?
3, 4.
Call it a
The
day.
numbers are in, you know what I mean? And then just snap, it's done. Now from here on out, it's just the Kind of Funny Gamescast with whatever the headline is.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments below what you would do if you were
What
me.
would your reaction be? If you're in the podcast, you got to come over, leave a YouTube comment.
Leave those comments, man. I'm Tim Gettys. This is Fran Mirabella III, a.k.a. FM3 _ on Twitch.
Love the
You do
underscore.
Fran Fridays. You do all that stuff. It's great.
Yes, sir.
How's the Twitch been going?
Good, man. Yeah.
Have you replaced Ninja yet?
I know, but like I said, he left a good 14 million behind. I'm just trying to pick up a
Get
little
them
bit of
one
that.
by one.
One by one. That's how we do it.
I heard there was a video of you that they played on his channel.
What? No.
Wait,
you lied
really?
about
The risque one.
it. What?
Are you banging that?
What is he
Wait,
talking
He's talking about the porn
I
video on
believe the
Ninja's
word
thing.
was railed.
Oh, I see. That was a good joke.
Railed was
Railed.
the word.
Railed.
That
Railed.
was me in the video.
This
Yeah,
guy was just
that's my.
railing this lady.
And that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you should follow and subscribe to my channel on Twitch if you want to see more of that.
There you go. And then the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
What's
How you
good,
doing?
Tim?
Many things are good, especially this iced coffee right now. Let
I'm
me tell you,
I'm
it's
jealous.
hot.
I am
It's
real
real
jealous.
hot.
I
You
could
want a
go for a
sippy
nice
sip?
coffee
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Get
But
it.
why didn't you bring me one? You know?
Did you got any
know. I
sugar-free
didn't think
vanilla
about
in
it.
there, Tim? Any?
Nah,
no.
Did you hear
That's
that?
how I
He's
do
not
it.
thinking about
Sugar-free
you.
hazelnuts.
He's
the one
not
I
a
like.
thoughtful person.
I'm not.
I know.
We all knew that.
Yeah,
That's
he's
true.
busy.
Nah.
But my good friend Andy could go fill a giant mug with ice and give me some iced coffee, couldn't he?
Doubtful.
Yeah, what kind of mug?
You want- Give me one of these
great question.
Kind of Funny mugs you can find on kindoffunny.com/store.
And you want coffee in there as well?
Yeah.
What do I do with the coffee?
What?
You
what?
just brew it over the ice.
So take the big mug and you put a
Yeah.
bunch of ice in there. Then you slide in the Keurig. Then you put the pod in. Then you hit the button that says iced.
Isn't
And
it going to
com-
melt the coffee?
Yes, slightly.
yeah,
Exactly.
But,
It's watery.
but if you
Yeah,
put
I'm with you.
more ice in than coffee, it'll work out.
See, that's why.
I'm with you.
That's iced.
That ain't iced coffee.
Iced
That's
Hey,
coffee with
again
ice.
though, when your friend and partner just fucking forgets you. You
Hey.
knew this is E3 levels of hot.
I didn't. I wasn't here this morning.
I didn't realize Tim Gettys got hit in the head with a giant rock last night. Woke up, forgot everything it was like. The living nightmare it was covering E3 in this hot box.
But I didn't know it was hot like that.
What you
during
you look
during
out.
E3. It
No,
wasn't.
during
it was hot
E3,
here.
I didn't know that this was E3. Like,
He just is saying it's as hot as it was then.
I understand that. I didn't know that. And so
How
I-
did you not? You were in Sarah. You live here. You walk
It's not hot.
outside.
It's not hot outside.
Doesn't
It's
the
hot
coffee
in
get
here.
watered down?
Gentlemen.
Andy, on sheer principle, you shouldn't
I
make
feel
it.
like this is easily rectifiable by Tim just asking Siri when he wakes up, "Hey Siri, what's the weather like this morning?"
It's San Francisco. The weather's going to be 10 different weathers at once at all
he's such a
times.
little
You actually
nightmare,
need to
man.
set a timer that
know what I mean?
asks him.
You know what happened to me
Here's
today?
the-
I was walking
that's
through the
true,
park.
though.
I was walking through the park playing Pokemon Go, and I was like, "Ooh, going to be a hot one today." I knew by being outside and the fucking seeing the sun.
I was outside all day. It's not bad.
It's not the weather.
I'm going outside. I'm going to see what it's like.
You're already hot. It's hot in here.
That's gonna make you hotter.
I
Greg.
get what
Don't
you're
do it.
saying though, Tim, because the
No,
weather
Yeah.
app.
Outside is actually nice because you can get a full breeze. The problem is we don't have enough
That's what I'm saying.
airflow in the studio, and we're underneath these lights that
Yeah.
make it warmer.
But I get your point.
there with a straight face and tell me standing out in the sun, you don't know it's going to be hot in this greenhouse of a studio.
I don't know. I was chilling.
No, he
I
knows.
get your
He's-
point though.
he's
The
just
weather app
trolling
only
now.
takes like from one specific part of the city, so
He's
you don't
taking
know what
this-
the sunset's going to be like. You don't know what the Richmond's
You don't
going
know.
to be like.
Now,
'cause
that's
But you
it's-
true.
do
they're taken
know
from
what the
downtown.
studio is going to be like if the sun is shining, regardless of if it's hot or not.
Y'all
Set your
tripping
zip
balls right now. It is
Code.
not that
you
hot
set
outside.
your
It's
zip
coming from me.
code. In your Google Home, your Siri, your whatever. She doesn't go, "Oh, I don't know. What, SF, let me take it from fucking downtown."
That's what they do.
No,
This is the
she
kind of
knows.
funny games. Siri doesn't know shit, dude.
She fucking knows it.
Boy, are you kidding me? I was just in Daly City, which is supposed to be hotter than here, and it wasn't.
Y'all got the heat crazies. Can we do the show?
I'm
This
taking
is
off my
Kind of
shoes.
Funny
It sucks.
Gamescast
No, please
each
don't.
and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We get
he's taking
together,
his shoes
talk
off.
about video games, all the things that we love about them. And the heat, it's making us all goddamn crazy.
Greg's rolling his pants up. They're so tight.
Oh,
cutting
also,
his
maybe it
blood
is on,
clot.
because Fran, can you stand up and give the people a little twirl?
Why? Because wearing shorts?
Yeah.
Why? I don't wear
They're not just shorts, they're cut off.
We can't.
No, get in the front.
They're clearly
Give them the show.
pants. They clearly were
they are
pants at one
cut-offs. They are
point,
cut-offs.
and then they were cut off.
yeah,
Did you cut them yourself, or is that?
No, they come that way.
Okay.
They're very expensive to have somebody else cut them in half.
This, and I want to point out, not to you. Now I'm no longer yelling at you, Tim. I'm yelling at Fran. Fran, of course, the one man who watched, knocking boots with Ryan Keeley on the IGN set years ago,
my.
and watched it and turned to us and goes, "None of you are allowed to wear shorts on camera ever again." We're like, okay.
But see, mine are under the desk. See, I'm adhering to my own rule.
Jesus fucking
True story.
Christ. This is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. We talk about video games, blah, blah, blah.
What episode is it?
Episode 234. You can get the show early for some godforsaken reason by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. And also, you can be a Patreon producer like Tom Bach or James Hastings. You also can get the show ad-free and get the pre and post shows. That's the real draw, I would say. Whole lot of content, whole lot of real quality content there.
You want to watch Greg and I eat pizza?
That was the
Pre-show.
pre-show. Yeah.
A mukbang.
Oh wait, what?
Mukbang?
Mukbang. You know, when you watch people eat. You don't know that term? It's I think it's Korean, right? Where you just watch people eat food. It's very popular.
Fran. This.
Oh no.
I already
No,
said this
no,
a million
Barry,
times.
no.
You can also get this as a video on YouTube or roosterteeth.com or audio. Just search for Kind of Funny Gamescast on your favorite podcast service.
Around
You killed it, Andy. Great job.
The
Thank you.
globe.
Thanks.
That's how you do it. We're brought to you by Quip and Upstart today, but we'll tell you all about that later. Now I want to tell you about a whole bunch of embargoed games, right, Greg?
Yeah.
What bullshit you got for me today?
Wait.
Wait, are
me?
we?
Yeah.
Are we
Oh,
muted?
you said-
no,
you had your
no,
quick
no.
segment of
Yeah,
like-
no. You can leave it. It's
Yeah,
this
don't
isn't
mute
the
it yet.
new part.
Oh, okay.
No, my
okay.
quick segment is I feel, I hate it when you hit me up and you say, "What have you been playing, Greg?" We're going to talk about games you've been playing. And I'm like, here are the same games I've been playing since last week. I'm addicted to them, whatever. I've been playing a whole bunch of cool shit. I'm embargoed at the wazoo on so many things. So, and none of them line up for this show or even Monday's posting. So I have things to talk about. Borderlands 3, Sega. But nothing of the big stuff to talk about. That's what it was. I just wanted
next
to,
week-
I just wanted to complain about that.
Probably.
Next week, I think one or two of them is up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But I have an embargo game that I can talk about, but you guys just can't hear about it until tomorrow morning.
The people
If we're
watching
recording
live.
Gamescast,
People
the
watching
people
live.
watching live. Yeah, because if we were recording on Thursdays like we normally do, we'd be totally in the clear.
So most people
But-
listen.
So if you're watching live, I'm sorry,
it.
but for the next, I don't know, probably 10 minutes, it's going to be muted.
I mean, kind of funny time. That means 30.
We'll wave when it's over.
I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't
It's
think
gonna be
that
All
long.
right. I'm
Well,
muting.
no,
I'm muting.
there's nothing they need to do. But live people are getting muted right now.
Oh no! Just in case they muted on top of it for some
Oh,
godforsaken
wow.
reason.
Okay, wow. That'd be interesting.
That would be weird, but you never know.
A double
real nice.
redundancy.
Producer, double
Yeah.
redundancy.
I'm
You ready?
muting the stream, and then I just want to double check. Let's take a minute over here so I can just double check over here that the
Oh,
audio
good, man.
is
Sure.
gone.
Yeah, no, we'd
So,
rather be safe than sorry when we
yeah.
talk about Death Stranding.
Yeah, exactly. So
I love
amuse
you can run
yourself.
that into the ground like in the future. as
Even
well.
long
Like,
after
once
we've
it comes
reviewed
out,
Death
yeah,
Stranding,
yeah.
we need to still say every time we do this, hey, man, that's Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, man.
That's how it is, you know what I mean?
What a playthrough.
Yeah. Woo. Who would have thought it? Norman Reedus was the baby all along.
Wow.
Clip that out if it's right. If it turns out that's how.
Amuse yourselves for a
Okay.
little bit.
Oh no, more.
we
more
well,
amusement.
it's because it's YouTube. It's a hella delayed.
I'm really excited to talk about a game later, Fran. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
Yes.
A game I was jokingly talking shit about and making fun of on Games
You
Daily.
were?
And the developer was
in chat?
In the chat. And you're
Send
wrong,
it.
dude.
You're wrong. Yeah. That's funny.
awesome.
All right, we're good to go.
I love
We're good to go, says Barrett.
All right. I want to talk about Astral Chain.
Oh,
New game
I didn't know
from
this.
Platinum Games, Nintendo Switch exclusive, published by Nintendo. They're kind of treating this as if it's an exclusive to them, like one of their big kind of tentpole games, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance
And
3.
Bayonetta
recently.
was originally an exclusive when it first launched, right?
Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2 was, but same kind of setup.
Yes.
Same team. It's exclusive with
Similar
Nintendo.
team, yeah.
Ish,
They also had Wonderful 101 on the Switch. This game, to start everything off, is awesome. So much fun. I'm about 2.5 hours in. It is a Platinum game through and through. It is anime as all fuck in all the right ways. Is this a Greg Miller game?
That was the question, remember?
Absolutely not.
No!
Absolutely
Because
not.
we watched the trailer, remember? And I was like, fuck, this kind of reminds me of Freedom Wars. Freedom Wars was weird.
Yeah, but okay. So that stuff's weird, but it's you're not a big character action guy. Bayonetta, Devil May Cry.
Yeah, no,
doesn't
that's
scream
not a Greg Miller.
You like a bit
That doesn't
more.
shout Greg Miller.
Yeah, exactly. Or Andy Cortez. Over on
Sirens
Shopify.
are gonna be on
This
our-
is an Andy Cortez
comes
ass
Sirens.
game. Both gameplay and aesthetic and story and just
Cool hairstyles.
Sirens are
Gundams.
on.
so many customizable hairstyles.
Oh, get out of
You
town.
start the game, and then there's these twins. You get to choose if you're a brother and sister. No, I guess they're twins. One is
20
boys.
years.
Twins can be brothers and sisters.
That's what threw me
20
off
years,
there.
Tim.
I'm one of them
Both.
dumb kids. 20 years. You get to choose the boy. You get to choose the girl. I usually choose the girls. It always goes back to Super Mario Brothers 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Same.
You're
Toadstool,
fighting for
she flies.
representation.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Since day one. So I chose the girl, and then immediately you get to choose your hairstyle. You get to choose your hair color. You get to choose
That
your eye
already
color.
sounds pretty good to
you get
me.
to choose your skin
See,
color.
I like this so far.
Yeah, and I was like, didn't expect this for this type of game. You know, doesn't really change too much of it.
So it's mostly style, not your face or anything like that.
You can change There's different faces, but it's more like
there are different
color of the
faces.
face.
Oh,
than,
even though they're related, you can change. Oh, it's coloring.
Yes.
That's what I mean. It's more stylistic. It's not like you're changing structure.
No, not structure. And they don't really, even though they're twins, they don't look that much alike. But that's how twins work sometimes. You know what I mean? What's that called?
Fraternal.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Are you actually changing the color of their skin, or is it more like makeup? Type stuff?
You choose like there's just a bunch of different colors that you like, maybe like 15 colors you can
Like-
choose from.
Emojis, right?
Yes, it's very similar to emojis. You do that, and you can change the eye colors, the hair style color, and the hair has like different physics and stuff. And it's like you can tell the people who made this game. They're like, we want you to look fucking cool the way you want to. They all have Andy Cortez ass hair. All of them, no matter what hairstyle you pick. Like I tried to make mine look like Gia as much as I could. That was not happening.
just looks like me.
looks like if Gia and Andy were like doing the weird like face mix thing.
Animorphs.
Yeah, animorph. It's an animorph in the middle of Gia and Andy, right in the middle. So, anyways, start playing the game. You have to choose a character, do all that. Then you get in, and immediately it starts with a legit animation intro opening, where it's like a really shitty fucking like semi-pop, semi-rock song
Hell
that is
yeah.
sang by somebody
yeah.
that I don't think's ever sung before in their life.
butt rock,
in
probably.
It's
like Japanese butt rock.
It's like butt rock mixed with J-pop.
Okay, so
Right?
it is a little more poppy then.
Yeah, so, but it's like you're watching Death Note. It's like you're watching anything, like super crazy stuff. Introduced to all the characters, and I'm like, I can't wait to
Is
meet
it,
these fucking weirdos.
Gameplay cutscene, or is it like illustrated style,
It's
storyboard?
illustrated, not storyboard,
It's actually
but
like anime style?
It's in-game engine, but it's not gameplay.
Oh, okay.
Cutting through, just kind of giving you an introduction to the world and stuff. And as soon as that ended, I was like, all right, I'm in.
You're in.
You got my attention here. The gameplay starts right off the bat, and it's gameplay that's not the core of the game. You know, we always complain about, like, you get to the final boss of a game, and all of a sudden they switch things up. and
Here's a
you're
brand
like,
new mechanic,
here's
a
a
different
mechanic that you don't
perspective,
do.
and like, what the hell?
It was kind of like that, but reverse, where you start off, it's this on-rails shooter type feeling thing, kind of like Sin and Punishment.
Yeah, sure.
You know? You're on a
Lovely
motorcycle, which is cool as fuck, in this tunnel, and like you're just blasting motherfuckers and going. And I was happy that part ended quickly because I was
Pretty much
like,
just moving
this
a
doesn't
reticle
feel.
and shooting?
That's pretty much it. And I was just like, this doesn't feel great. I want to get off this motorcycle. It looks cool, but like I want to get to some real platinum gameplay. Once you get off that and you're actually walking around and stuff, and you're introduced, like the tutorial section is fairly long, but it's fun. Like it didn't hit the point where I'm like, all right, let's keep
Right.
moving. It was like they're introducing you to a lot of different mechanics that are interesting.
I'm sorry, did I miss how much you played?
2.5 hours. Yeah. And it's from how much I played, it looks like it doesn't really matter if you choose the boy or girl. It just kind of flips the story of
course,
like your character, or at least so far for me, doesn't talk. The other kid, since I'm the girl, the boy talks a lot, and like his name's Akira, and it's like that's set that way. Your character's kind of just there doing stuff. So far, at least, there's effort noises and stuff they make, but there's not like dialogue stuff yet. But pretty quickly, you're introduced. You're kind of just thrown in and just like fight these enemies, and they're pretty low level, and you're just like having fun with it. And they don't get in the way with the tutorial until after that, and then little by little, they introduce you to the different mechanics, and it's cool because it's very unique and unlike anything that I've played before, where it feels like a platinum game, but you're playing two characters at once. Because you have your main character, and then there's your Astral Chain, which is they're called legions. They're the dogs that we've seen, or like they're essentially Gundams. But in
Oh
different
my
forms.
God, what an Andy game.
Yeah.
There's 5 in the game total.
Are actually with you when you're fighting, just one at a time.
So far,
There's different
one.
types,
I think
maybe.
that like later you can.
But in terms of
mix them
general cast, it's
together.
like a dog and
It's like a summon or something.
So here's the thing. In
Devil
the
May Cry
2.5
had a little
hours
of
I
that.
played, jumping around a bit here, but in the 2.5 hours I played, this game went from like, oh cool, this is a platinum action game that is super anime, and then it was just like, oh, it's super anime, kind of like Power Rangers, and then it's like, oh, it's super anime, kind of like Pokemon, oh, it's super anime, kind of like Dragon Ball. It's like they keep adding elements where it's so clear that their sole goal with this game was, let's just fucking do something cool. Like, let's impress Andy every 15 minutes and make this.
They need my sale.
And they do.
Yeah, it's true.
And you need to Twitch stream this. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be so great because things just keep happening that are like the epic hero sacrifice. That's like, I don't know they needed to do that, but I'm happy they did because there's epic orchestral music playing underneath it, and you're like, I need to avenge his death. I need to right now get out there and fuck
So
these
here's
motherfuckers
my thing.
up.
You're talking about the action being a turn off for a Greg mode because it's more like a Bayonetta, Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
something
it
to
sounds
effect.
like that.
Is it in the way that when it ends, like it's like you're star rated? Did you get S rank and all? Okay.
So it's clear that they're trying to speak more to you if you don't like that game, those type of games, because they're the different modes that they have. Like you don't choose like easy, medium, hard like that. There's the casual mode that is a bit more how I'd imagine you'd want to play it.
Okay.
More focused on the light action RPG elements. Like I think that they learned a lot from Nier Automata, and you can see a lot of influence of that game in this. But then if you go down to the regular mode, I forgot what it was called, but it's like essentially the description is like, if you like platinum action games, this is how you're going to want to play. This is how you're actually going to get the S rank, A rank, like you'll get ranked at the end of the levels.
More arcade mode, sort of.
It's not arcade mode, more like just traditional character action game, where it's about stylish combos. It's about kind of really deep knowledge of playing this third-person action game like a fighting game, you know? And what's cool is the mission breakdown. Every mission kind of has micro missions within it. So it's like chapter 1, right? We'll have so you're cops. So you have different files that you're going through. So in
This is
file
not a cool
1,
Greg game then.
What's up?
Not a cool Greg game.
Not a cool great game. Okay. Definitely not a cool great game. But there's file 1. There's like a case that you're investigating and stuff, and within that you're in this not open world, but an open area. And in that open area, you can go through the critical path and do the file itself, or there's a bunch of different like mini things you can investigate, and that opens up different stuff that at the end of the mission, you get ranked on all 5 of the different ones if you do them, but you don't need to do them all. But that's how you get the S rank and kind of go on from there. But going back to what I was saying, Greg, about it not being necessarily a game for you, is it very much is a character action game of running around and mashing buttons over and over to do really cool combos. And in the beginning, I was like, this seems a lot more simple than even a Bayonetta, where there's only one weapon button. Like there's only one attack button. And you're switching between, you have this like police baton that you can either use as melee, or if you hit up on the D-pad, it turns into a gun. But you're still only hitting one button, the R2, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
To
ZR.
I refuse to use
God, I
anything that's
hate
not
that.
PlayStation terminology. But you're always just hitting that button to do attacks. So I was like, this seems kind of limited compared to other games like this that normally have like a light, heavy, like different kind of variations of that. But pretty quickly, when you're introduced to these legions, the different characters you're controlling, you realize that you're controlling both at the same time. So as you're attacking, this other creature you have is also attacking with you. And it looks really chaotic on the screen until you realize that the chain, the astral chain that you have attached to this thing, is a weapon as well. You can hold the L2 button to start controlling the legion, the little monster guy. And then you use the right stick to control where they're going. So you can move both characters using the left and right stick at the exact same time. And then you kind of create this tether. And then you use the chain, you can wrap around other enemies to tie them up. And then they get staggered. And then you get to go in and just like do dual combos together
sounds
to
cool.
fuck them up. And that's where it gets really cool.
So, for the people like me who are listening or watching and who are all the way confused about everything you're talking about, I just looked up some gameplay on YouTube to be like, I've heard of this game. I don't recall seeing this game. I have no idea what the fuck Tim is talking about right now.
Wow.
So, no, I'm serious because like if you don't know what the premise for the game is and all you hear is the name Astral Chain,
No,
and that it's a
definitely.
Platinum game, you kind of go, okay, well, if I know who Platinum is as a developer, I can maybe suss out what this game looks like.
100%.
Right?
You can.
But if you don't know who Platinum is as a developer, if you've never played a Platinum game, then maybe you're like, this sounds weird.
It's a character action game.
But yeah, so essentially it's like a third person over the shoulder like character action game. What he means by a creature to the chain, which I did not understand until I actually saw the gameplay, was that he essentially has like a cuff on his left arm with or her, whoever, whatever gender you choose, right? With the chain attached to it, so it's like
It's like a dog.
Yeah, so it's like a leash.
It's like a dog on a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
it's like some kind of weird creature, and like the actual like leash, the chain is the astral
it's
chain.
the astral chain.
Okay.
Because get into the story that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? Who cares?
It looks cool.
But it's like there's the astral plane
does.
that's coming over into our world, and we need to stop them. Who gives a shit? It's just cool stuff, and it's an excuse to fight big monsters.
So that's what the chain is. What brings these creatures in from this other dimension to fight alongside you? Because most of the
gonna be
running
honest,
around in
Andrea,
the
I don't
world
know.
stuff I see,
Yeah.
the chain is just coiled up by your arm, and there's no creature with you.
This goes back to it.
So you
the point
summon
of this
them.
game is being cool as fuck. Why? I don't know. Is that what's happening? I don't know. I can tell you in the opening cinematic, it reminds me a lot of Ruby or Genlock, where it's just like the art style and characters of that. But it opens up. There's like this like mad scientist looking dude, and there's like a cage, and there's this robot in the cage. The robot starts attacking everybody, but he looks like he has it under control. He's like,
Hell yeah, he
it's
does.
gonna be fine. And you can tell the robot's bad because it's red. But then all of a sudden he like pushes a button and the
And it
robot turns blue. And,
Shut
and
the
then,
I was kidding.
Swear to God, I'm telling you, dude, it's like this is there's nothing crazy about
Yeah.
this. Like we've seen this before.
It's pretty
Andy.
black and white. It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
like
red and blue.
yeah.
So
sure, red and blue.
then it turns blue, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's controlling it. And then there's this like weird thing that puts on their arm that can put out this leash that you attach to the robot.
Like a bracer, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't even know. It's just like a leash attached to this weird ass thing that transforms on you. Why? Because it looks fucking cool.
But yeah. So I get that a lot more now. That was good to go through that. But how do you summon this thing, or is it always there? That was one piece I wasn't totally.
So it's
clear.
not always there.
Like, is it a super,
It's there
or is it-
most of the time? It's not
there
a
a lot?
super. It's definitely part of your like
core abilities.
core abilities where you summon it, I think, with the L1 button, and it'll pop up. But there's kind of like a stamina meter
Okay, so there is
starts,
like a-
that starts going down, and if it hits 0, you need to wait for the battery to recharge, and then you get to use it again. But
Doesn't
it
Devil May Cry a
recharges
little like that?
pretty quickly. No.
I thought that one character you had to like summon the.
Yes.
It's
yeah,
like when Joker
it's
uses
similar-
Persona and
V.
Smash.
Yeah, V.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
a little like that. Anyway.
It is like that, like Joker and Smash, but you get it a lot more often.
Got it.
Like
Okay.
you have these things constantly.
bit.
It's just you only don't have them when it's like it's a cooldown that's necessary, or else you would just be like
Yeah, you'd go hall
keeping them
wild
the
all the
entire time. But it's cool because it's you can go through and just kind of button mash and have fun. But when you start using the chain to combo things up and stagger the enemies, and then decide when you want to attack with your character versus the Legion, or both at the same time, or have the Legion attack melee while you're kind of back with projectiles, like that's where the real fun comes. And already, like I was saying, like every 15 minutes, I feel like the story ups the ante and introduces something that's just batshit insane in a good way, where I'm like, I just can't wait to see where this game ends, because the characters have a very Metal Gear quality to them.
Metal Gear.
Where you're just like why are these characters so ridiculous? Like
Otacon.
what? Like there's like an Otacon character that's just like the the kind of the woman in the seat who's just back at the computer, like ridiculous crazy blonde or pink hair, and she's just like so over the top in everything she does. It's like, why? It's like, because it's cool. Every fucking thing about this game is because it's cool. It
lots of
plays,
style.
it feels cool to play. It looks cool to watch. It sounds cool. The music's cool.
I still want to try it.
It's cool.
Based
But
on when we talked about this a few Gamescasts ago and we watched the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
like that's when I was like, okay, yeah, like I see where I think I would be able to actually like this and get into it. Like
Yeah.
the police angle seems cool. These officers that have these guys that are attached to them that are going to go out there and do this thing.
story-wise, yes. So my cons to the game so far, the investigation stuff is not fun. It's really basic, and it so far really feels like, okay, I'm here. There's a glowing red thing there. It's where I need to go.
Of course.
You go, you hit A, and then text comes up and stuff starts happening. It's kind of like detective mode. And it's stuff that we've seen before. It just doesn't feel well implemented.
Okay.
And I'm constantly just like, just let me get back to the fights.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that they're doing that to kind of not make it feel like every other Platinum game, but it just kind of feels unnecessary at this point, especially because it's like adding a bunch of story stuff that like,
Isn't working for you.
let's just get to the big part where we have to fight the big monster.
Yeah,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Because that's what we want.
Sounds like you wanted Freedom Wars. You should have supported it.
Yeah, no. But the other thing is, visually, I like the aesthetic of the game, but it kind of looks like Vanquish, and
Okay.
it's like, which is cool, but a game in 2019 looking that way, like it very much looks
okay.
like a.
You mean it looks like Vanquish on PS3?
It looks dated.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
it looks like a PS3 game,
gotcha.
which is not a problem, but and especially because it's playing on Switch, and so far no real issues with frame rate or anything. It's very smooth, and like it's very responsive
That
to what I'm
surprises
doing,
me,
which you
actually.
need for. But I think that it's because they decided to have the visual fidelity
Scaled
not
down
be
quite a bit.
as
Right.
scaled down.
Do you remember if it runs at 60 frames per second?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm not the most attuned person to that type of stuff. But
I
it
hope
feels
it
good
does, because it's the type of game that should.
though. It should. And I think that it does. We can look that
Yeah, I'll
up.
have
So
to
it's got to be then 720p 60.
Oh yeah.
If
for
it is,
sure.
probably. But it's all right. We can answer after. I mean, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. You know, Mr. PC TurboTax always thinking about your hertz and your frames.
What a nerd.
I need to play PC Builder
To be
on
quite
my
honest,
PC.
it is the superior way to play action games. So you should have played God of War
It
that
is
way.
60.
And if you played it in cinematic, like blurry mode, that's fine and all. It looks very nice, but you played it the wrong way, and that's fact. PS4 Pro, God of War.
Is that
Performance
straight
mode.
from the lips of Mr. Barlog? Is that what he said?
No, but I bet you if we call him right now, he'll agree. Actually, he
I don't know
probably
about
won't.
that one.
He'll
Guarantee-
dance around. I know he
guarantee
won't.
you he will
I know.
in a
He'll
second.
dance around and be like, well, you know, there's
He will
really
say
no
the best way to
exact
play God of War is
right
on
way.
PlayStation 4 Pro because that's what the marketing folks told him to say.
Or even better yet,
He'd have a good
the
answer.
best way to play God of War is however you want to play.
That's what I'm saying. He would
no,
dance around
no,
it.
that's
But
not what
it
he
wouldn't
would
be that
say.
straightforward. He'd dance around it.
He would say that afterwards.
In any event,
60 frames per second.
let's go. Now it sounded
I mean,
good.
again, it's a platinum game. Like,
But that's really good, and that's why I thought it probably was. And if you're not noticing performance issues, awesome, because I would have, they try to do a lot in their games. Actually, I believe, if I'm thinking,
Maybe it's
Vanquish
like a
had
540
those
like The
issues.
Witcher is.
it might be. I mean, again, it's just
I
like
doubt it's that.
It's
that
not the
low.
biggest con because like the aesthetic and style of the game is they nailed it. Like the neon look of everything. It's like, yep,
Yeah,
this
it's a
is
little
everything
not
I want
as
from
much
it.
texture.
It's got a very
probably
highly animated
vibrant.
look. It's not trying for photorealism, and so I think that
Yeah, I think it
a
looks
lower
good.
or lower resolution would work.
But it reminds me. Earlier, I was saying Genlock and Ruby. Like it definitely looks like those more than like a high quality TV anime. You know, like
Yeah.
there's this kind of like lower level to it overall. Which
But you think it looks
doesn't
good,
matter because
right?
the gameplay's fun. Like
It
the
fits.
gameplay is totally there. It looks
Does
fine.
it fit?
What?
In other words, would you want it to look better? Do you wish that they had more horsepower, and are you left feeling it?
definitely.
You're left thinking about it. Okay,
It's- I feel like
it's a little flat.
so
maybe.
far, there's nothing about this that I'm like, ooh, I'm happy this is a Switch exclusive.
Okay.
Like, I'd always
'Cause
be
of
like,
the
I'd
visual,
rather it
sure.
be on PS4 and Xbox One. To
Are you
get those
ever happy a
bonuses.
game is a Switch
great answer.
exclusive?
Yeah, a lot of times. It's portable. It's great.
Well,
But it doesn't have to be
sure.
exclusive, right? For you to enjoy it on your Switch.
I mean, okay, whatever. Not about exclusive, but
I
like,
think
I
what you-
prefer to play games on Switch.
That's what I was saying. I think she was
Oftentimes.
mostly saying, how often do you want to play it on your Switch versus this? Maybe you would want a higher fidelity, huh?
Yeah, for this type of game, I think it just fits better. Like,
Yeah.
because the fidelity matters when you're talking about frame rates and you're talking about how the
Yeah,
game
like Devil May
feels
Cry, right? It looks
moment to moment. Yeah, Devil May
amazing.
Cry is a perfect example because it looks so great. RE Engine, man.
Especially on PC.
This with the RE Engine would be fantastic.
Yep.
But anyways,
Heard it.
That's that. We can now unmute.
Alrighty.
Bear, we need to unmute.
So man, Death Stranding. It was like
Death Stranding
so much
once
Death
again.
Stranding
Insane.
that we got.
It was
And
like
when
We're still muted.
so
right?
much
copy
more
comes with
complicated than I
Kojima.
thought it was going to be too.
Whoa.
You know.
I think every time we have done a muted, we always joke that it's Death Stranding.
It's Death Stranding,
Yeah,
man.
we joke about it all the time.
Borderlands
Might be
3.
joke.
Yeah, buddy. So I was invited by 2K to come up to their offices and get hands-on with a new build where they gave us access to about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay, like a big chunk. So we spent the first part of the day playing Flack, the Vault Hunter, who's the Beastmaster character.
Beastmaster.
And we'd seen a little bit of him, but really hadn't gotten to dive into his skill tree. And I'm pretty set on playing Amara because I'm a Siren person, but he's a close contender
Right.
for a potential second
Zane's been
pick.
Yeah.
front running for me right now. So
Yeah,
Zane's amazing.
I've been Soldier every game, right? Like I just like that basically, except for Athena in pre-sequel. When they brought this by the office and let Andy and I play and capture, that was my thought too. Of like, man, this is actually pretty awesome. Like having the pet run out and attack things for you, right? And have
Yeah.
I had to keep saving Andy. You know what I mean? It was really bad.
Well, you know, I didn't have something doing all the work for me.
Well, you know, I
is
just
the thing.
invested my points correctly, but I digress.
okay.
I digress.
So yeah, having a little animal by your side is great. So there's 3 different animals that you could choose from. I went with the spider ant. There's also a jabber that throws acid barrels. And then there is the...
Why is it a spider ant? Why not just one or the other?
It's like it looks like an
Because it's-
insect from a fucking Starship Troopers sort of thing.
It's kind of a
weird-
combo
It's
because it's got
big.
like
It's a
it's got
big
the
ant.
multi sections that an ant has, but it doesn't have 8 legs.
The thorax?
and it's got a big armored piece on its front front part of its thorax, and then it's got like the kind of spider-looking legs that ants are similar, but they're different. It doesn't have 8 legs though.
Yeah, it's just an alien-looking
Half spider,
insect.
half ant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is there an animal at the top of each tree? Is that what you're getting at?
Correct.
Yes.
So that's your like main class ability you're
Right.
choosing.
And
Final
so
one's a guard
So wait,
skag.
Yeah,
spider
skag.
ant thingy, a
The skag.
skag.
Yeah. And
Which
then
is a what?
the
Is that
jabber.
like a doggish?
Skags. You skags are the first things you ever kill in Borderlands.
Oh,
they run
yeah,
at you all the time.
skags.
yeah,
Right.
they're kind of like a wolf.
Yeah, they're
monster
weird
hybrid.
mutant wolf
Dogs. Yeah,
dog
yeah, yeah.
things. So you got a skag.
I just Googled skag.
Nope,
No,
that
yeah, it
you needed
is.
more information than that, I bet.
Borderlands.
Yeah, you do.
I wasn't
skag.
thinking of the
Yeah,
animated
yeah,
Skag
yeah.
definition is a smelly pirate hooker. Some believe that it comes from a mix of skank and other
See?
various terms.
And the hag.
Just in case people were confused.
Yeah,
And some
exactly.
other third thing.
Yeah, no, there's no confusion. Anyway, what's cool about Flack as a character is that I believe Flack is a non-binary character, and so Flack's pronouns are they, which is I think a really progressive thing for Borderlands to do. And he's or they, them,
Robot,
the-
it.
What's the singular of they?
They. You
Is
just
it
You
say
say
they.
that. You just say that.
I apologize if I get the pronouns wrong, because I'm bad at grammar just in life. So Flack is really fun because you get to have an animal buddy with you the whole time. And I don't know why I just keep gravitating towards the idea that you get to have all of your skins that Flack wears are also skinned on your animal buddy. And so the first skin that I unlocked in the vending machine, I had no idea that it was also going to
Apply
skin
to
my
the-
little friend. And so as your friend like runs around the world, you can see the skin on them too, which I
It's
thought
like
was really cool.
MeUndies. You can buy them for you and your dog.
That's
Match.
true. The buddy band.
Make your better half match your bottom half.
There we go. And Portillo.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something, then you didn't.
No, I was going with the MeUndies shit.
It's as much as Greg had to offer. That was
Better
So
way
you
to
have
cook.
the skill tree up here? I was going to bring gameplay, and then I forgot my hard drive at home. Sorry, guys. My bad.
all right.
But I'll upload it later, and you guys can check it out if you want to see me
You can go to
playing.
youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, see the party mode, nitro rifle and flapjack bag.
It's not done yet, though. is
over.
But by
it?
the time this goes up for everybody else on Monday, how bad could Andy's computer issues be that it's not live on
Not
Monday?
that bad. Hopefully
jinxed
not
it.
that bad.
Yeah, me and Greg both played as Flack, and I think the first power that I went with was to summon the 2 eagles that fly. Like it wasn't an actual summon; it was just like this superpower that you send out 2 sort of fire-looking
I
kind of birds.
forgot what the name of those birds are.
And they cut into enemies, and it's really fucking awesome. It's really cool.
They dive bomb them, yeah.
It's a really cool ability to do that
not-
while also be shooting other enemies. Like it's just the game feels great. It looks great. Obviously, being on a higher end console, the texture fidelity is gorgeous. Like this game's gonna be very addicting.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I really like about what they've done with the skill trees, and we've talked about this before when we've done previews, is that they've really let you customize them in a way that we haven't seen in the Borderlands franchise before. So specifically with Flack, you're able to kind of pick and choose like which animal friend you want and then what you want his passive ability to be. So you could really split the trees more than you can with even some of the other Vault Hunters that are in Borderlands 3, which I really like. And so I tried out a couple of the other animals and I tried out some of his passives. I mean, obviously you're going to want to make a commitment relatively quickly because you can swap around as much as you want, but once your upgrade points are in, you want to really kind of commit to a specific path to like dump all your points down a specific tree. But there's a lot more flexibility this time around, so you could have multiple people playing Flack on your team, and they could all have their own different version of that
Well,
character.
that's back to what we've talked about before, right? The fact that everybody has the 3 different skill trees, right? So that even though me and Andy during the party mode went out of our way to be like, all right, I was doing the skag one, you're doing the ant one, so it was like we were trying to show each other different things, right? So like, yeah, your super was the birds or whatever, right? But then mine was the gamma, where
Yeah.
it was like I let this gamma radiation bomb go, which then made my skag bigger, and suddenly he was huge and doing more damage, and it was a great distraction if I was picking up Andy, as I often had to.
Well,
Rats, that's what they're called.
You know what I mean? Or get up there and do all this different stuff.
Andrew, how'd you like Amara?
I really loved Amara.
I thought she was awesome.
Yeah,
really
she
cool.
was my favorite, and I've gotten to play with all 4 of the Vault Hunters now, because in the second half of my playthrough, when they fast forwarded us to Eden 6, a different planet in the Borderlands universe, I played as Mose, the girl that has the mech.
The mech, yeah.
But Amara was my favorite, and I played her at the reveal event, and what I really like about her is that at first I thought she was going to be a more melee focused Siren, and I was really hesitant about that because I'm a ranged player. But you can, of course, customize the 3 different trees that she has, and you can play her very much like I played Maya in Borderlands 2. And so I think that's what I'm probably going to start with, just because I prefer that type of gameplay. I like to do more range stuff. I like to do more CC, more crowd control. I usually am not like the tank that like gets right up in the mix and is like a shotgun or anything.
I had the ability that I ended up upgrading the ability that I guess a huge hand comes out of the ground and holds the enemy in the air.
Phase grasp.
Yeah, it's like a very like holographic sort of looking thing, and it holds the enemy and basically holds it in place, so you could just pump bullets into it.
Yeah, that's just like Maya's ability from Borderlands 2, which I really like. I mean, obviously it's different for a variety of reasons. You don't need to like get into the details with me, people in the comments, about why it's different. I know it's different, but I mean the concept is like you're essentially stunning or freezing an enemy in place.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it, Flak. Yeah, I've tried all 3 before Flak, and I was just really like Zane is the one that I'm still excited about, and what I was like
the gadget guy.
Yeah, Zane, the guy with the shield.
I don't
he has like the shield. It's Zane, right? Yeah, you put the shield down.
Yeah, that's right. So he's the operative.
Exactly. So it's I would just say I specifically chose Zane, and this was at the reveal event because it's not the type of character that I normally gravitate towards. I played Siren in Borderlands 1. I'm Gage in Borderlands 2. Like those were my mains. But then I was like, I always felt like nobody was picking Zane. That was part of it. Everyone wanted to be Amara at the time because they were just so excited about Amara, and I totally understand.
I mean,
why.
those abs. Right?
They're amazing. But for Zane, just carrying around a shield and big guns, I was like, this sounds interesting. And once I started playing, Zane also has the warp, right? So you can warp to, He's
got the digital clone, the
clone
shield,
yourself.
and the sentinel drone.
Exactly. So you can't have all 3 at once, but I used the clone and the shield, which they actually, when they did the demo, they recommended the drone and the clone, which was fine. But anyway, the point is there's so much flexibility in each character that the truth is, it's not even just about the character. It's like you guys were just getting at. It's what skills within there, that you choose that really define how you play. And again, when I switched off the drone and the clone to having the shield, I did, like my eyes lit up. I was like, this is so much fun. And I put the shield down. I didn't know at the time. And I saw that I could like pick it back up and take it with me and move it around, which just, again, was a detail I didn't expect to be there. And there's a lot of that going on in Borderlands. So I'm super stoked.
I think they've added so many little quality of life improvements over what they've done previously in the franchise. That really excites me. Are they reinventing the wheel here? No, but I don't care as long as the polish is there. And so far,
it's definitely about the
it
polish.
really feels like it is. And so the game is officially gold. They did say that the build that we had wasn't the completely final build, that they were still doing some last minute polishes and fixes. But because I got to play for such an extended period of time, I got to try a wide variety of guns, and they all just feel so much fun to play. It got to the point where I got anxiety about not being able to try all of the different guns because you pick up so many guns all the time through the loot drops that I hate like dropping things or not being able to vault it. And so I always spend money right away to upload or increase my backpack size so I can carry more stuff. But the alt firing modes adds just another layer to that. So this is something new for Borderlands 3 that they've added. So not every gun has an alt firing mode, but a lot of them do. And so essentially you just hit down on the D-pad and it changes from potentially doing like burst fire to like slugs or something like that. Or if you have a shotgun, maybe it goes into like a grenade launcher. And so things like that really make it just that much more fun to really nerd out about the loot chase is really what is the defining characters you want to see in a looter shooter.
And that's what scares me about it, right? Is how nerdy you can get with it. So Fran, what I'm going to point out is if you go to the Borderlands website right now, you can go and experiment with the skill trees and build it out so that maybe when you're playing with your friends, you don't sit in your menus for 45 minutes hemming and hawing about every skill. Because I know. I'm not even
We've all been victim to this, Fran.
Did we possibly make that joke similar during party mode where we were like, well, I'm just in the menus right now, just like in Fran's streams.
Whatever. I happen to play games that have a lot of menu.
I'm just saying you could do some homework ahead of time.
I'm with you. I actually think that is amazing, and as a pro tip.
Pro
And
tip
I'll
from
take
me.
it as a
There we go.
constructive
Yeah.
tip.
And I'll
nothing more.
shove it up your ass.
Is there anything about Borderlands 3 for you guys right now that you don't think looks too hot?
The one thing that I did notice was that
Does
there's a couple of the characters who clearly are not original voice actors, and it's obvious that they aren't original voice. The good thing about it is that you
about
don't see
Claptrap?
those characters. I'm talking about specifically Claptrap and Reese are the two characters that I saw. And you don't see Reese very much in the beginning. And I'm not going to say anything more about that because I don't want to get into story spoilers about what
And that's pretty
why
much all they've said publicly anyway.
Right.
Like once you get there, it won't be that big of a deal.
It feels like you'll have a little bit of interaction with him, and then you hopefully won't have to ever see him again because I really don't like
Voice
what
was
they've.
bad.
I don't like what they've done. No, it's not good. So
Travis Willingham.
But for new players, is it going to bother you, the performance? See what I mean? Like
for
if you're a
new
big
player-
fan, it's going to bother you.
if you
so I
never played
understand.
Tales from the Borderlands, you probably won't care. You'll just think that
Oh.
he's a super annoying character.
That's right. I was from Tales. That's right.
Yeah. Claptrap, on the other hand, is different because he's been so involved in the franchise for so long. He's one of the poster kids for this franchise, and it's hard yet to say how involved Claptrap is going to be in the story overall, but it's noticeable. That said, he's still funny. The writing's still good. His performance is good. It's just different, and I can tell that it's different. And for me, it's tough because that's one of my favorite characters in this franchise. And I know people have a love-hate relationship with Claptrap. I think people either like, Claptrap's my homeboy, or they're like, I want him to die in a fire.
Sometimes too much talking.
I love
huh?
Claptrap.
Yeah.
When
Clap.
we were at the reveal event and he popped up and it was like, oh, that's really cool. And then it was like, oh, well, it's not him. And it was like, oh my gosh, whatever. It wasn't until I went back and played Borderlands 2 stuff again or like watched videos and I think we're tinkering around where I was like, oh my God, he sounds so different. It was that thing that I didn't catch it after, it being so long since I touched a Borderlands game with Claptrap in it.
Yeah.
To get there and then hear it and be like, oh, that's normal. But then to have him back to back, I was like, oh shit, that is really different.
That said, they have a bunch of new characters that are awesome, and we got to meet one in Eden 6. So this might constitute light story spoilers.
It's a big news story today if I know where you're going.
Yeah.
We talked about it in Games Daily as one of the tidbits
Oh,
today.
okay, about Ice-T?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a character
Ice
called
motherfucking T's in
Balix,
this game.
and I recognize
you're
his
telling
voice
me-
instantly.
So you're telling me these lands don't have borders?
And without question, he's fantastic. And the character he plays is super ridiculous. And I'm not going to say anything about how you meet his character or anything like that. There are videos out there, I'm sure, if you want to go find them and you want to look. It's so much fun. And that, I think, is, Borderlands doing what it does best, is to introduce these wacky characters with these weird, background stories about why they're in Pandora or wherever planet you meet them on, Eden 6 for Balix's case. But he was super fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more new characters come into the storyline and be part of the universe.
Also, good for him for being as big of a gamer as he is.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just some random celebrity kind of coming into a different ecosystem that they're not used to. This is like Ice-T fucking plays games all the time, and he tweets about them all the time.
What's
And
his Twitter? Final level.
Final
Yeah,
level.
Oh, yeah, Final Level.
Final level.
He tweets all the time about, and he always puts a hashtag to let his non-gamer followers know, oh, this is a gamer tweet.
Yeah.
And he'll hashtag it like gaming tweet or something like that. He's the best. It's
Ice-T.
awesome.
Division 2, he was huge on Division 2.
Yeah.
And then when he was like, I'm gonna stop. I've been grinding the same thing, and he's like, this is always heartbreaking when you see a game. Dude, it's like, damn, I see, fucking knows about the gear grind, and when the Division
Oh,
2
yeah,
he's
dude.
up, it's gear score and shit.
It's so cool.
You gotta follow Ice-T on Twitter. I don't even know what he's talking here because I tweet something available. You've always been a little bitch boy.
Oh no! If you talk shit
It's
to
always
Ice-T,
a broke motherfucker trying to talk shit.
Yeah, he
if you
loves
try to
clapping
troll
back.
Ice-T, yeah, he totally just fucking rips
He
you
will
apart.
clap back.
And
It's
sends
the
everybody
best.
back at you.
Clap back, clap trap.
Yeah, Borderlands 3. My one thing off the demo, what we played, what we captured, whatever. This is a Greg Miller thing. I'm just not good at it. I'm never good at driving these kind of vehicles. And, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Where it's like the up is always go, but it's where you're pointing your head, and I'm just.
There's like Halo.
Warthog controls, baby.
It breaks my brain, dude.
Man, I was real bad.
Yeah, me
I
too,
was
yeah.
especially
They-
bad.
it's
in
a-
this
it's
I'll
a
be your
normal
guys'
thing.
driver, man. I got that shit on
See,
lock.
I'm always the
Vehicles
driver
are-
too, man.
Yeah, let's go. Boom.
Tim, are you gonna play this? Because we were
I'll be
talking
your
about
driver, dude. Let's go.
But
no, real talk. Like looking at
I'll
it,
be
like
your
with you guys
driver.
talking, I've never played a Borderlands game. I was really interested in one when it first came out,
Yeah.
but like I was staying at Alfredo's house for a while he was playing it, so I watched him play it for a long time, and I was like, this looks dope as fuck. But I just never got into it.
Yeah.
So with this one, I want to give it a shot, but I don't think it's my type of game. But
What's
hey,
the last
I'll try.
shooter you've played?
Shooter?
Yeah, first-person shooter.
I wouldn't even go that way because you love Halo and
Yeah,
stuff like
I
that.
play a lot of
It was
like
probably
more
like
the
Apex.
campaign ones. Yeah, I played a little bit of Apex. Yeah.
But you're more like, that's right. I remember you
It's
replayed
looter
Master Chief
shooter that I
Collection
think would be the
stuff.
stop.
Oh yeah. No, I love that stuff. I like campaigns. You know,
It's,
I like
yeah,
story
it's open
modes.
world leveling. That's kind of like not
The moment there's
Tim's
an
bag.
open world, I don't know, man.
But
And
what
see,
I
that's
like,
what I'm so excited about. When we were playing and we were doing the stuff, and it was like, well, run through this to get through the prologue faster to do. Okay, cool. And I started picking up side missions, and I was like, I can't wait. And coming home and telling Jen about it because we're excited to play it together. You know, we're trying to finish the DLC. That's a story to itself. But we're so excited to play Borderlands 3 together, and I was like, awesome. Keep in mind, as soon as I get it, I'm gonna start playing. She's like, what the hell? I'm like, but no, they fixed it in this game where we can play each other. I can come to your instance and help you through your story, and then our things will be auto-match, and I'm getting gear. So it's like, to just go into my world and nerd out and do every little side quest and do every little thing.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's smooth. Did you guys experience that recently? Like the actual, like, have you played at different levels with anyone yet and had hands on?
Well,
with that?
again, for us in party mode, I got way ahead of Andy really quick. But it
No,
gives you
like, you know,
But in other words, it sounds good. It looks good.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know if
everything
anyone's
they say
seen
sounds
it.
good. We'll
obviously we
see.
haven't seen the
Yeah.
instance
I hope
loot
that-
in action because they haven't given us an opportunity to have like a level 40 in with a level 10.
Yeah.
Right? But everything that I've played is great. What I think is so much more approachable about Borderlands being a first-person shooter RPG hybrid is that the RPG components are not as intensive as they are even in like Destiny 2, right? Like even just seeing what all the changes that they're making to Destiny, like the individual grind for pieces for like the gauntlet you want or the helmet that you want, that is not as big of a deal here because that stuff's more cosmetic.
Yeah, I
where
completely
here it's
agree.
just about the guns. You just got to figure out which gun you like and the style of gun you like, and figure out like, do I want an elemental or do I want like a special alt firing mode? And it's really all about the weapons. And so I think having that laser focus for the RPG progression element just beyond gear for guns makes it much more approachable to people who are like, I don't want to be in my menus all the time. I want to be out there having fun, you know, just getting into the action and having combat scenarios and not like feeling like I have to be in my vault managing my inventory for an hour.
There's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
a
you're
whole
still
lot
gonna have to,
learn.
but-
Yeah, the thing that scares me about every time I want to go back to Destiny is there's always a new system that changed where it, you know, breaking down these two items can give you an item that you put on your helmet that then gives you an item that boosts you or whatever the fuck. It's just like, it's a lot of stuff to worry about and a lot of item management. And with Borderlands, it's, you pick the character of the archetype that you prefer, and then the guns are cool, and the better colored gun is going to be better than the other colored gun that you had, you know.
Fixing some of that now, by the way, with Armor 2.0. But
Oh, Jesus.
that's
Is
a
there-
different
is there
discussion.
I don't know if the word fixing is the word
No,
I
no,
would
it's
use.
no, but
Changing.
with what he described, you now, in theory, it's a longer discussion.
Is
You're
there
going
a
to get
Crit
mods, you
Pat
can just slot everyone.
story?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's
And
a
is
there's a
that
Borderlands
worth
3
doing?
main story.
Like, is that
I think,
cool?
I mean, one of those, and I'll
Go ahead.
please, but one of the strengths, I think, starting with Borderlands 2, Borderlands 1 didn't do it for me and I didn't stick around, but that's a different story too. But Borderlands 2, I think, introduced such a great cast of characters that had so many comedic moments talking to them that I thought, yeah, I think crit pathing, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel.
Great writing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're getting all these great characters and really funny things. I'm expecting that from Borderlands 3.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be hard for you to crit path because you're going to pick up so many fun side quests that you're going to want to do them. And it was hard for me just in my demo. And they specifically said, you don't have enough time to do all these side quests. You could maybe pick one. And there was like 8 that popped up when I was crit pathing in this like 3 to 4 hour session in the first section that we played in. But I really love where they're going with the Calypso twins as these new characters, these quote new media asshole
Streamers,
antagonists.
YouTubers.
You know, and like it's like subscribe and obey. You know, it's like this whole tongue-in-cheek thing about people who do what we do.
Yeah, totally. They're making fun of YouTubers and content
Yeah,
creators,
I
but they're running
love
a
it.
cult. It's great.
I love it because we all
It's
know
funny.
that new media asshole. We all know one. Or multiples.
It's Tim.
For those who don't know, in terms of the main mission stuff, they're labeled main missions, and the only thing keeping you from doing them normally is your level. So worst case, you know what you have to do, Tim, and you just might have to level up, and that's where it sort of depends. But usually, if you're just following main missions, they're pretty much, you can always do something that carries you forward, and it's not confusing at all. So
Cool.
You should definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I will give it a
Nothing
shot.
like Destiny in terms of or Division
Thank
by
God.
any means. Like in terms of how much detail I think there is, and like, wait, do I keep it? Do I delete it? That was the big thing for me coming into Borderlands. That I'm just still excited to start grinding because I never quite got to deep end game grind in it. But in other words, in these other games I mentioned, there's like so many items and stuff. But in Borderlands, I quickly learned, and to what Andrew was even getting at, there's so many cool guns. But the good news is it doesn't matter if you throw it away, really. Like, kind of for a brief moment, you'd be like, I wish I kept that one. But then, like, 30
Another
minutes
cool
later,
gun. And
there's
another cool gun.
Just so many cool guns. And then eventually the end game is for the really, really, really cool guns. And those we will be targeting. But anyway, the point is you can throw stuff away and not worry about it, which I think gives me and everybody anxiety in those other games.
Totally.
And,
Yeah.
and ultimately, if you're not me, you won't have that anxiety. I still get tons of anxiety deleting stuff in
And
Borderlands.
like the
but
art
you don't need to worry.
on each of the individual guns, I took time in my footage to like just inspect and like swing the guns around and just
Yeah.
look at how the detail they put in. He talks
They're
about
really
you could
cool.
just throw it away, but like each of those, an artist like handcrafted each of those guns, and it might speak to you as a player, it might speak to me as a player. The style of FPS I like. I'm very impressed by everything I've seen so far, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
Me too. 100%.
By the way, I had the question about the birds. Are they the racks or
The
whatever?
racks, yeah.
Oh, they are racks. Okay, so it
Yeah.
is the enemies from the game that you're controlling.
Yeah, there's two of them, and they're on
see.
fire. They'll dive bomb.
Yeah,
It's a one of your specials. Yeah.
I know we were almost there before. Figured I'd land on that.
Let me tell you about our sponsors. Now, Andy, Overwatch.
Oh yeah, real quick.
What's up?
Overwatch update went through for competitive, where it is this new thing they introduced called roll queue. So back in the day when you would queue up to play competitive Overwatch, obviously the best sort of composition you want is 2 tanks, 2 damage, 2 support players.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I mean,
Whenever
that's a
you
pretty
join a
basic
competitive, a lot of people prefer to play damage, so you end up with like 1 tank and 4 damage players and 1 healer, and then your team
Yeah.
loses and
You're
everybody
like,
gets
who's
pissed
gonna be
off and
Mercy?
fucking quit don't play Widowmaker. You're trash, dude. Fucking play with
One
so
shot.
there's a lot of fighting, and so
Toxic.
what they're doing to alleviate a lot of that, and not only for online players but for Overwatch League, they instituted this thing called roll lock, where it is you are locked to 2 tanks, 2 attack, or 2 damage and 2 support. And the way it works is back in the day, you would queue up for competitive, and if I join a match and I really only maybe feel comfortable playing as support, and I join a match and 2 supports are already selected, it's like, oh fuck, and they're like, hey, Maximum Cortez, can you play tank? I'm like, oh, fuck, not really, but okay. And you end up losing because you're not very good at that role or whatever. So now you queue up for just a tank, or just us damage, or just support.
Oh, you can queue into matches that need it.
You queue in only for those matches needed, and it tells you, and what it does is it gives you a competitive rating, your skill rating by role. So you have like a tank skill rating, you now have a damage skill rating, and a support skill rating. And so when you join up for these matches, you know, I
good they
selected
are.
support here, and there's only going to be one other person playing support, and these are all people that are comfortable in these roles. And I just think it's changed the game, not only for that, but also for Overwatch League, where Overwatch League kind of the meta got really shitty, and every team was running 3 tanks and 3 supports, and it wasn't fun to watch. And the people who are super good at getting headshots with snipers and stuff like that, they were being relegated to not even being played.
Powers.
They were on the bench because they only. Like, oh, those roles aren't needed. We're just playing 3 tanks. It's like,
Wow.
The league got really, really. It started to look like a MOBA. It just started to look like League or Dota, where it's just 6 people pushing into each other, and when one person dies, that team loses. You know. So now it's great for the league because snipers are back and headshots are back, and players that can carry their teams are back now. Where, oh, maybe it's like 2 of us left and 4 of them, but then I get 3 headshots, and suddenly like, oh, what, you know, these exciting moments are back, and it's super, super exciting to like to be watching these teams again.
When did they make these changes?
Yesterday.
Oh,
so
wow, okay.
it had been in
Brand
the 222 had been in the PTR, the public test realm, for a couple months, only on PC, and it finally hit updated. It finally got updated everywhere yesterday, consoles and PC. And it's great. It's just like in my opinion, it's saving the game. It's I made the joke earlier where they people were asking me about the NBA, how like the Warriors are being broken up, and how the NBA's like just a 2-star team, a 2-star league now. And it really feels like Overwatch, where it's like it's going to be exciting to watch again because we don't know what's going to happen. We will see these superstar moments of like the guy playing Widow and Widowmaker, and he gets 3 big headshots, and it kind of turns the tides for the team. So it's really exciting. I'm so stoked for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Who have you been playing as?
I main Zenyatta in support, but I've been playing, like, again, what's cool is like I can queue up as damage. And because what would normally happen, you would queue up and one person would pick support and there would be 3 damage players. I'm like, well, I wanted to play damage, but if I want our team to win, I should probably move to support, right? And so that would happen all the time when I would play with me and a couple of people in the Kind of Funny community. And so it's great now that I know what I'm queuing up for, and it's just the best decision the game has made in a long time, and a lot of the pros are super happy about it too.
And this is just for competitive.
Competitive, yeah.
Has that support.
Yeah.
That's great.
And when you, just one point of clarity there, when you die, you normally can pick another character if you want, right?
You could pick another character
just within support.
Within the support role
That's
or
what I
damage
figured.
role or tank role, yeah.
Okay. So it's not like you're locked to that one character. It's just
No,
anywhere
yeah,
within the role you can
unless
still choose from.
Unless the other player picks the character you just were or something.
Right, that's the only thing you have to
Yeah.
worry about. But even then, it's like fine. Like,
But
you
it's cool.
sign up for
It's
support.
great. It's like I think it's going to lessen a lot of toxic. I think the only toxicity you'll see now is like, oh, well, you're just bad at that player. Play another character in that
Maybe
role.
you shouldn't be a
As
support
opposed to
role.
like, look, dude, I never play this fucking character. That's why we're doing bad right now. Like, I'm more comfortable with here, and like, it's going to just lessen a lot of like arguing on the internet.
Nice.
On the internet as a whole.
On the internet as a whole.
We
yeah.
solved the
Making the
internet
world a better
with
place.
this Overwatch
That time
update.
somebody
everybody.
figured it out. I didn't know it was all Overwatch.
Ice-T's chilling now.
Fran, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
2 very similar
Andy.
words that are different, though, we found out.
Thanks
But,
to the developer for
what?
watching Kind of Funny Games Daily.
On Games Daily, I mentioned this earlier, but I was
Yeah.
talking shit because I was like, how are you going to have the words Rebel and Outlaw in your title at the same time? It just seems
Like a
little,
rebel
Like,
versus
I know they're not the exact
outlaw.
same thing, but it's just like...
They're not the exact same thing.
That's like calling someone pretty and beautiful. It's like, all right, you say something better.
I like it.
but a rebel, but an
I watch Bachelor every goddamn week, and the amount of times they're on a date and be like,
You can't-
you're beautiful. You're just so... You're just so pretty, and
just
you're
fapping.
saying the same thing, you fucking
nothing
It's
idiot.
like fighting. It's
Dive
like
a little deeper.
fighting brawler battler.
Let's not take Tim
It's
too
the same
seriously
shit.
on the
We
name of
know.
the game.
That's
That
what you're
reminds
saying.
me of the Bo Burnham joke. You're incomparable, like a.
Wait, what?
That's funny.
But fighting and brawler
Well,
aren't the
that's
same,
right,
just
yeah.
like rebel and outlaw aren't the
All right,
same. They're not the
heat
same.
crazies are full effect the last
Either way,
few days.
bad name.
I'm not crazy. I'm right. Okay.
No, I'm just saying that I don't care about that aspect. I just want to talk
So
about
let's
the
talk
game.
about the game. What is this game, Fran?
What's the game, Fran?
Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. Apparently, it's prequel to a game that this indie team. I say indie because it's a very small team, like 5 or 6 people. Right? Is it Double Damage? What was the name of the? I forgot the name. I should have prepared.
I'll look it up
but-
for you, Fran.
But a very small team, and there was, this has existed before. I think it was Rebel Outlaw. I think before or something.
Now we're
or
going to the
no, it
Galaxy.
was just Rebel Galaxy. Anyway, I didn't mean to like comment on the previous one because I haven't really played that one, but I know that it exists, and this is prequel story, but it is a sequel of development. So anyway, long story short, it's an Epic Store exclusive right now. So it was a little of how I
Yeah,
stumbled
Double
onto
Damage.
it. Yeah, Double Damage. Good. I'm glad I got that part right. Well, we're off to a great start. But it is on the Epic Store exclusively right now. It's $30, so $29.99 here in the States. And so, right, it's not like a full $60 game. I think that's worth noting, at least in terms of maybe the potential scope. But it is definitely inspired by games of your, like Wing Commander, or just those space shoot 'em ups, right? And it is all about upgrading your hunk of junk in this, galaxy system to get something better. And there's a lot of games that have done this, even games obviously like FTL, which are very different, a little more like real-time strategy type feeling. So it's not like that. You literally pretty much hop in. It's got this, I guess I would say almost expected. It's a little cartoony space outlaw style, so it's not like hyper real or anything. So they actually use their storyboard stuff to push forward some of the story stuff in the beginning. And it also has just a killer soundtrack lineup. I think I heard, now this is down the chain of what my chat told me, there was something like 24 hours or something of
they said on their
music.
website they
20.
have over 20 hours of
over
music.
20 hours. Good.
Is the music like space western?
It's very like Texas rock and outlaw. indie rock. You know, it's a lot. It's a
When
big
you're saying outlaw,
swath.
are you talking like cowboy
Western?
Cowboy
western?
stuff, yeah. Cowboy stuff.
Okay.
I thought this was interesting. On their site, there's an FAQ page, and there's a lot of funny questions. But the one question I want to point out is, why should I play your game? And they say, if you don't think spaceships, biker gangs, decaying blue-collar Americana, machine guns, and a complete disregard for accurate space physics go together, then there's probably not a good reason.
And that last point, and there's probably, you know, the one that I'm moving towards, which is, I guess I would describe this as a space shooter with casual complexity. And what I mean by that is, when you look at it, I think you look at the trailer and you see pew, 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 all these different
Art style looks cool.
Trying to chase ships down and get accuracy and use different guns. Like you probably think, man, I don't know. There's probably like a lot going on. Plus, I got to navigate space. There's a lot of directions to worry about, a lot of places to go. Like No Man's Sky, I know people are very looking forward to. That is much bigger in scope. This, you pretty much like hop in. You're at a small outpost space station, and you just talk to somebody in the bar kind of thing and pick up a mission. And you go, and the cool part about it, so just to describe this casual complexity, so you do hop in your ship, very quick load times on the PC. So you actually hop out right into space, and your target is always lit up in space. So you just start looking around on your radar. You're like, I'm going towards this yellow dot. Now the cool thing that they did that I really like is that you can press A on the yellow dot, and it will fast travel you towards it. Or you can actually hold the trigger, and it will actually warp you through hyperspace. You can see how far you are away, like whatever, 40,000 meters or whatever it is. And you can choose two ways to travel. So you can actually get this feeling of hyper warping through space. And it doesn't take like a lifetime, but it might take 45 seconds, 60 seconds. And sometimes things happen along the way. It's like, you know, you've noticed the distress signal, so it'll like stop you. And you can choose to like, oh, I'm just gonna do this little side mission. There's a bunch of landmines and I need to shoot them down to help this cargo ship. And you're gonna get something from that. Now, part of the mechanics here are, again, you start with this hunk of junk. The stuff you're seeing in the trailer is like, I wish
You're
I
way
had
further
this.
ahead.
The ships are very expensive, so you're earning money. I mean, it's as simple as that. Yeah, you are a space cowboy, and you can choose to be an outlaw. You definitely can make some choices story-wise in terms of if you're carrying cargo and you want to piss the cops off, you can go down that path. There is apparently some wanted level, and I haven't gone down that road yet. So it's got a little bit of that going on. But again, at the core, you literally just fly around and you go from point A to point B. And I'd actually stress that as the first thing. You don't always have to be shooting stuff.
What happens when you're not in ship form, when you're not in the ship?
So you're literally just like
the woman there
at an outpost, and it's all I would say it's very PC in the sense where there's a menu at the bottom of which room in the outpost you're going to. So if you go to the bar, it's like it's a loading screen, and then you're in the bar and you're just like talking to someone. So you're not walking around as the character. You're either in the ship or you're in a static screen, you know, or well, it's not static, but you're standing still yourself anyway.
And but are you having dialogue that you're selecting with?
There's a little bit of, well, actually no, the conversations you have in the outpost right now tend to just be, hey, I'd like to sign up for the Mercenaries Guild. And they're like, so here's the information on it. You page through it, and it's just a tree of dialogue that you go through. In space, however, you can pull up the stuff. And so let's say you get into a shootout with some mercenaries, it does give you an opportunity. You can select like 3 things, like, you know, get the hell out of here, or you can be like, whoa, I think we can talk this out. So they give you, I would say it's light dialogue, but it does have some decision making. I did effectively, as an example, I was able to talk my way out of like getting shot up. Just by taking that time. It's optional, right? Like the dialogue doesn't come up. I hit the menu button and I was like, whoa, I'm going to die, but I knew I was gonna die. I was not upgraded at this point. And I was like, I haven't tried this yet. And I said, whoa, sorry, can we talk it out? And they're like, all right, yeah, we don't have to get into this. And they flew off. I was like, thank goodness, because otherwise it would have set me back just like a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, it's casual complex in the sense that don't overthink it. You jump in, and it's really cool that I got confused at first because the buttons are so fast. Like the B button, I'm used to backing out to say, I want to go back to the launch bay, which is the menu. That's the top tree of it, right? And if you press it too often, they actually designed it as if you back out, you go into space like pretty immediately. So if you watch the beginning of my stream yesterday, I was trying to load in, and I'd get to the dock because I didn't know how to play, and there was no tutorial, which I actually like. But I accidentally would tap B, and it very quickly would throw me back into space. I was like, oh crap, I'm trying to just land. And anyway, the point is you grab a mission, and there's random missions. I think they had a big list of stuff, and you get different amounts of credits for those missions. there's also like the level of difficulty that you're playing at. So it rates like, is this going to be difficult? Is it easy? So for lack of a better way to put it, you kind of grind out your greens. Those are your easy missions to start. Go deliver some cargo. But it's got some nice details. Again,
This
for a
looks
$30
awesome.
for a $30, it is an indie game. I define indie as a small studio.
It's a 5-person
No matter
team,
how
yeah.
long you worked on it, it's a small studio, more limited budgets, et cetera. And, so there's a lot in the game. They even have a commodity system. So you'll go to space stations and like they'll be selling diamonds, and it's a little like the stock market. You only have so much room in your ship, so you got to carry this stuff. And cargo's one of these things you upgrade. But you can buy like diamonds. You might be like, wait, the market price is more,
Yeah.
and I think you don't know where it's more, but you're like, I think this other space station happened. You can take that moment to fly around and try to find the other space station to buy it, to sell it for more.
Sure.
So it's pretty cool.
My one question for you, and I don't know how much
Throw 'em at
eyesight you have on or how much you've played the other one. Would you pick this over No Man's Sky, especially with Beyond coming out this week?
I haven't played No Man's Sky, and I'm going
Okay,
to. I've been
okay.
waiting to play it, honestly, because I know it's a very deep game, and I think that's the only thing I can say, having observed, like,
This looks way more combat focused, more dogfighty.
Yeah,
like, it's
you
got a
don't-
different vibe going for it, except that you are in space, you are running. No Man's
Exactly.
Sky has the exact same thing you're talking about, a scarcity of, you can bring uranium over here, but you can sell it for more
This
over
is
there.
much more narrow, right, in the sense that like you're not exploring a vast,
Yeah.
ever expanding space. Like there's a lot of places to go, but it's a lot of go to point A to go to point B, and they make it simple. You go into space and you very quickly can just warp to your next spot. There's no landing. You get over there and you'll either shoot somebody up or you'll pick up some cargo, and it's pretty straightforward in that sense. But you start to get into this grind of like, like for example, it costs 1,000 credits to join the Mercenaries Guild. There's 2 of them. So you look at that and you're like, I only have 5,000 credits. I'm early in the game. And I just sort of had that sense that I've played games like this. I'm like, I should buy this. They don't really describe, but I'm going to get more missions. And I did it. I was like, oh my God, there's so many good missions in here that I can earn a lot more money. So it's a lot about, I would say that above all. You've got this ship, it's a hunk of junk, and that's what you start with. And you're like, I just need some shields, man. I just need to get these lasers. I need to get these heat-seeking missiles because I want to go destroy these ships, which are destroying me. And it definitely punishes you. You don't, at least I did not have the experience where I flew out into space, got in a fight, and I was like, woo, let's go. I was like, crap, this ship sucks. And I realized, like, I can't be getting into fights, and it does a really good job of that progression. I'm a huge Metroid fan, right? And so it's that stripped down feeling of like, I've got nothing, and I've got to build it up before I take on anything big. So I found it very enjoyable. I actually thought it would make a perfect Switch game, on that topic of which platform should it be on, because I would love to take this with me.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
I know. So it's
Eventually.
coming to other platforms, and Switch, they're working on something too. We don't
Switch
have
and
a release
PS4
date.
is what they said.
They said
but
eventually
don't-
coming to consoles. They're working on it, and that a year from now it'll be on Steam and other.
So it's exclusive in the Epic Store,
Epic Store,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Again, full disclosure, right? It was a provided copy in the sense that I'm part of the Epic Creator Program, so it just was sitting there. I can install games for free sometimes as part of the program. But if you decide to pick it up, I'm on the Epic Store as a creator, so you can use my code if you decide to pick it up. But, and that's the grain of salt with, am I biased? Because if you buy it, I might make some money from it. But no, I genuinely really enjoy it. I thought I was just going to play it for like an hour and check it out and talk about it on the show. And maybe
Got
that's the best way to
sucked in.
end this, is I totally was like, all right, I'm not playing Destiny right now. I'm just going to keep.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just going to grind
the
this
Destiny
out.
killer.
Whoa.
I mean, we don't have a lot to do in Destiny right now other than grind out. So just some vanity items. So
We don't have a lot to do.
here
I
we
mean, it's a
go.
lot
we have
to
a
do.
grocery list of shit to do right
but
now
for
in
like a
Destiny.
set of armor, you probably will never
The most
use.
beautiful glowy set of armor you've
beautiful.
ever had.
Very
Let's do the Destiny conversation, but can we keep it to
Before you jump.
2 minutes or less?
Well, before you jump for that, I just want to close it out here. I did look it up. Outlaw, noun, a person who has broken the law, especially one who remains at large or is a fugitive. Rebel,
Fugitive.
Wilson, is an Australian actress, writer, and producer.
See?
Got him.
Same thing. I told you.
No, they're different.
Insane.
They're different people.
Insane. I'm not saying they're the exact same thing. I'm saying that they are very, very
Just shush
similar.
and let them talk about
similar
Destiny for
words.
2
We can
minutes.
talk
Put
about
2 minutes
Minutes
on the clock.
2 minutes.
Do we really want to talk about it now?
The only thing I would like to mention is that they had a stream today, the crew at
Yes.
Bungie. It had a really cool vibe, very down to earth, very relaxed, where they went through some gameplay showcasing how Armor
This is big
2.0
news.
is going to work. And it's really exciting for people who have dumped as many hours into Destiny as people like Fran and I, or potentially more. In fact, a lot
Many
more.
more.
And because it adds a layer of complexity that I think people who are playing Destiny every day or every week really were yearning for, something to chase. And I think that so far, it's really exciting. It's going to be, in my mind, the first thing I thought was like, oh man, this is a lot more busy work.
Armor 2.0?
Yeah, but that being said, I haven't gotten to experiment with it myself and actually see the effects in combat and see how this new mod system that they're adding to all of the gear is actually going to manifest itself out in the field.
Yeah. The thing I would just note with the little time we have left is if you are thinking of getting back into Destiny and you hear about all these things changing, and again, grain of salt because we haven't played this yet, but I do see what they're doing. Tim was talking about getting a piece of armor, and you're like, crap, if I shred it, what are the materials? And what perks does it have? It's actually more about the perks, so without getting too deep into it. But perks now on your armor will actually just be like mods that you acquire permanently. They are not consumable anymore. This is the big change. So what I'm excited about is once you get this sweet perk on a helmet, and maybe you don't know much about it, I assume, well, actually perks come from certain areas, but the point is you keep it and all you do is slot your armor now. You don't have to like go chasing to get all these different types of armor that might have your drop, which in Destiny became very overwhelming for a lot of people. You're like, I'm not even gonna worry about my armor. Like I just like the way I look.
Yeah.
And they're focusing a lot more on you still get all those perks and more, but the way you look, you can now look awesome and not feel like this pressure to save all this armor and figure it out. It's honestly been overwhelming.
It was to a point where you would get the same drop of a gun, like let's say a pulse rifle that had a different set of perks, and you kept chasing this god roll of the RNG system of the same pulse rifle because you're like, I like that gun, but it doesn't have the perks I want, and so you could have up to like 7 or 8 of the same gun with different perks in your
But see, guns you
inventory.
still will remember. I had the same thing where I was like, ooh, but weapons aren't changing that we know of.
Different types of guns, sure, that's different. But what
But
I'm
armors-
saying about like the same
2 minutes is up.
the same thing.
It's been 2.5
But no,
minutes.
but the point is you would
It's 2
chase a bunch of
minutes
armor,
isn't
and now just check it out, actually. Check out Bungie's Twitter feed. They did a good job of some quick compartmentalized videos, and probably a good way to look at it until further notice.
Now, Barrett, I sent you a link from the Reddit. I want you to throw up.
damn it.
I know it's hard for you to do your fucking job and look at the screens. Just look at the screens.
Look at the screen.
This one cracked me up. It's what'd you
Ah, where'd I go? I saw
Here it
when
is.
Fran...
When you're 25 minutes into Fran talking about a live service game and it's Charles Barkley falling asleep. Now, of course, we're all guilty of this as I rant and rave about. I remember I did like
DC,
45, well,
right?
DC for sure, but I did 45 minutes on some other game.
Oh, it
where
was
I
Marvel.
Yeah, I was super into the minutia and shit. And we all do it. I
There's
just
no
thought it was
pleasing
funny.
everyone. That's the problem with video games at this point, where it's like these, especially with service games. Which at this point, what game's not a service game to some extent? And it's like the games we're playing, we're going to talk about them.
I'm not saying stop. I'm not saying be
and
less
yeah, like
detailed.
Tim did it with Astral Chain today, and I thought it was great. What I would say to the audience, and bear in mind, we rely on each other to, at the right times, interrupt each other and ask a question, right? Not take over the conversation. We don't want to do that, but that's the goal. Meaning, when I go off on one of these live service games, I'm waiting for one of these to be like, hold on. Like, we have this question, and that's what we rely on each other for. So when they don't, it means that they think that you're doing a good job. So
Well, even when we do interrupt, we think you're doing a good job. That's not the
yeah, but
difference.
the point is, as hosts, right? It's we look to each other to ask the pertinent questions when we're going deep on stuff. So when as an audience, sometimes we'll talk forever on a topic, but that means you're all at the table being like, "Sounds good."
Yeah,
But
oh yeah.
I would, at least that's what I would say. I'd look to you guys and be like, "That's enough. We get it. We're gonna move on," and like
Yeah.
whatever.
All right, Fran, that's enough about this topic. We get it.
That's
Let's move
right.
on.
Barry,
no
you
more
don't count. You're
Batman
not a
Arkham.
host of the show, so
I want to talk
I
about the
don't
guy
get
Wait
getting
a
that.
Sega
second, are you
Genesis.
both? You're both hosting Kind of Funny Games Daily
Not
tomorrow.
anymore, Greg. Not anymore.
Greg Miller.
Yeah.
Topic of the show: Sega Genesis. It's
Mini.
back, baby.
Sega
in
Genesis
smaller
Mini's here.
form.
It's
Oh
back,
my,
only
you
in
got
small,
it.
tiny
it's
form.
heavy.
It is heavy. It's
The
here.
Genesis.
Can I open it?
Yeah, go. This is our official unboxing for the Sega Genesis Mini, of course. Today, on its 30th anniversary.
Wow.
8/14. Can you
It's
believe
actually
it?
today? Oh,
August
that's-
14th,
that's freaking
1989. Is when it
Look at
came out
Sonic.
in North
Little
America.
fat
In North
Sonic. I
America.
miss him.
Everybody calm down.
Okay.
Got Sonic and Fat Pikachu.
Oh, we got a plug?
can't wait to
Cool.
see it,
Very
actually.
interesting. Very
USB?
interesting.
Great.
I'm going to give you some fact sheet stuff. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Of course, this is coming out officially very, very soon. It's going to be $79.99. It comes with 42 games, 2 replica 3-button USB Genesis controllers with 6-foot cables.
The worst controller ever made.
I'm sorry, what was that? No, that's true. Yeah, I remember. I immediately
Mushy
you got the
D-pad,
thin
man.
one, and then you got with the 6 buttons,
Yeah,
whatever they call it
yeah.
at the time, whatever.
HDMI.
One USB to micro B power cable, 1 power adapter, North American only, 1 HDMI cable. What's the actual release date? 42 games. I already said that, right? September 19th, 2019 in the US. October 4th in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East.
September 19th, you said?
That's what I said, correct? Yeah.
Kevin Smiles' birthday.
A few days after Borderlands, I think.
Fire Genesis.
Yeah, September 13th is Borderlands. Yeah.
So if you ever want to play Echo the Dolphin, you could.
Yeah. Look at it. Look at how cute it
it's
is.
so mini.
I
So
love
small.
It. I love it so much.
I'll give you
Wow,
a quick,
it is. What would you say that's the size of, like, a personal
Well, here's
pan
my iPhone
square pizza?
XS.
Oh my God, it's almost.
Wow.
It's like maybe 20% bigger
So
than
you see-
an iPhone XS with a case.
It's approximately
That's a great,
55% of the
good
Model 1
comparison,
size.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the size of a face.
Pretty. I mean, it's a good lineup of
Face
games
sized.
too.
It's very
for
tiny.
this.
Much
Yeah.
smaller than I was
The
expecting.
the
Peel that plastic off
controllers
top.
or the heavy part, I
Bothering
think.
you, Greg?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Genesis, I know it gets a lot of shit, but
Does it?
It does have. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
I'm a Sega kid. I'm not sure anyone.
But I mean, like, how many games do you love on the Sega Genesis? That's what it's like. I don't think that anybody would argue that the Genesis
unconditional
Best console of all time.
or even compared to
Unconditional love.
Super Nintendo at the point,
some
right?
good
Fair. No, yeah, I'm not gonna.
But there is some good stuff.
They
It's
got
just
Road
like
Rash 2
looking
on
at the
here, guys.
controller.
That's
It's
all you
like,
Road Rash 2, Streets of Rage 2.
yeah.
Ready to roll.
Dude, you got Toe Jam and Earl. You
Yeah.
got Streets of Rage.
Sonic games. You got Mean Bean
You got
Machine.
Sonic.
Streets of Rage 2.
Shinobi 3.
Hell yeah, Shinobi's back.
Earthworm
Castle of
Jim.
Illusion.
What? Earthworm
Contra
Jim?
Hard Corps.
No, yeah,
Castlevania
Contra Hard Corps.
Bloodlines.
Best Contra.
Golden Axe. I mean, come on.
Walk
Yeah,
'em all,
Shining.
walk 'em
There's
all.
good stuff.
Wait, Fran, is it Earthworm Jim or Earthworm Jim 2?
It's just Earthworm Jim, I think, right? It's up here.
Okay.
Yep, just one.
Just the first one.
At least.
Kid Chameleon's on here, which was a favorite of
Yeah.
mine.
Gunstar Heroes.
Got it on my
Fantastic
birthday. I
game.
remember
Anyway,
playing it in my
it's-
house
I mean-
with friends before going to Leaps and Bounds.
How much was this again? I do remember. those
$79.99. That's what I said.
things. Yeah, see.
Yeah.
That's,
$79.99. $79.99.
that's the question, though. Do you want and
M2 handled all the ports.
I assume
That's
yeah.
fantastic. M2 do such a great job.
They did
with the
Sega
old games.
Ages and Sega 3D Classics collection.
Yeah, which are
Well, that's the question. Does everything port and run well, emulate
Sure.
well? If it does, and you would
If
assume
M2
it
did it,
does,
it does.
That's the reason you might be interested in going down this road, other than also.
I mean, the nostalgia
having
is just
something
because it's
very
cool. I love these
I
little
almost spilled
consoles.
water on it.
Don't spill water on a frame.
Yeah,
Get it away from
You know,
me.
as somebody who grew up with the Genesis, right? I remember Genesis for me. My memory obviously is that I'm a Sega Master System kid. Got it, when I saw Ghostbusters on it, was able to get it for my birthday the next time around. And then in first grade, had a good report card. And they said, what do you want? And I was like, I want a Genesis. Because I was locked in. I'm not deviating from this path at all. And got my Genesis. And then, I was off to the races, obviously, with Sonic, with Spider-Man over on the wall.
Yeah.
Golden Axe, Streets of Rage.
Yeah, my
Road Rash.
Golden Axe.
My
I'm super
friends
excited to play
had
Road
the
Rash again.
Genesis.
Genesis for me was Sonic and Echo the Dolphin, and that's it.
Yeah.
I know Sonic 3,
I was a Nintendo kid.
which is such a bummer. I get it. It's the weird licensing and all that stuff, but it sucks.
What was
with
the license for Sonic 3?
Sonic 3 just has a lot of issues with music because
Okay.
Michael Jackson may or may not have composed some of the music, may or may not have stolen
yeah.
things. There's there's a lot of layers with Sonic 3.
Fantasy Star 4 as well.
And it sucks because Sonic 3 is a legitimately great game
Yeah.
that, everybody shits on Sonic, but 2 and 3 are very good.
Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition with the 2 controllers. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, no MK2.
I was gonna say that was the big thing that I remember most was because I didn't have Genesis, my friends did, but it supported Blood and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
And
of course, yeah.
I still remember. I think the blood code. It was like Abacab or something. ABBACAB maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I always Abacab. We'll have to look it
There
up.
you go.
I like
Was
to
there
say-
anything cooler than Vector Man? Because I don't think so.
Nah, man.
When I was fucking 8 years old at Toys R Us, that would be like the demo game, and I'm like, this is the future, man.
future's here.
It looked like that was their attempt at looking at Donkey Kong Country and being like, no, we're gonna do something neat, like cooler. looking.
You guys ain't seen nothing
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
We gotcha.
They nailed it
Wait,
though.
what was it?
It was it's
Vector Man?
ABACABB. I mixed it up with ABBA, but Abacab.
Abba?
ABACABB, the cheat code for blood non-censored fatality in Mortal Kombat on the Genesis.
Yeah.
Remember it to this day.
Man,
Almost.
licensing sucks.
It does,
Because
man.
if they could have Spider-Man on this, you fucking kidding me?
It'd be great. Because 40 games. I mean, that's
You
a
say
ton
it sucks
of games.
until it's your IP somebody's licensing, and then you'll be like, licensing is the best. I can't believe I ever thought this sucked.
True.
But it's
Yeah.
like
But I
if
think
you're gonna
isn't
do
it-
these nostalgia things, it's like people are nostalgic for a reason, and I feel like they nailed licensing stuff with Mickey there.
It gets into. I don't even know. Actually, I don't even want to.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to hazard a guess as to why this would be so tough now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of cool.
But
now
it's
that I
a
see
trip
it in
just to
person.
have a little Genesis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
even
haven't,
the
I haven't,
box is
I haven't
dope.
held a real Genesis in so long, let alone had one like this with all the sliders and the buttons and the stupid ass headphone jack they had on the front of it.
Does that little slot move at
How do you
all
guys-
for the cartridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does? Oh,
How do you
cool.
guys think this is going to do compared to the other classic mini things that we've gotten?
Better than PlayStation, not as good as Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds
not,
right.
it's not going to do as well as the Nintendo.
The PlayStation 1 was just
Overpriced.
totally overpriced, and its library was not up to par.
Garbage.
And 20 games was just not enough. Like, at least this is like, there's a couple of missions here, but for the most part, this is the Sega Genesis collection.
Yeah, I think it has to be old enough too to warrant it. Like meaning it's a weird communication that like I mean with PlayStation, like why isn't it just release that stuff on PlayStation 4? Like why are you selling me this other thing? Whereas this, and I know you could say the same with Nintendo, but it just feels different to me. It's old enough, 30 years, and that's part of what you're getting is this package with the style of the controllers and all that stuff. It's not.
I guess I've seen these in like Bed Bath and Beyond.
But you haven't. That's the key, though.
Right?
It's the M2 emulation, though. Like,
Right.
that's what makes this thing actually.
Yeah, you've
quote,
seen, like, the
unquote,
Right,
worth
But
it.
I think that's the part
versions.
that's going to be difficult to convey to consumers who aren't actively looking at gaming marketing material, right?
I mean, I think the hardest part is going to be getting people excited about the Genesis in general. Like, I don't think that there's like a overall fond look back at the Genesis of like, man, can't wait to play these games in the same way that they can release Mario World 10 more times and people are going to buy it.
Oh man,
You know?
And that's the thing is like, you know, when you think of the Nintendo consoles, right? I feel like so many, like it's obviously proof is in the pudding and everybody knows it, but like Nintendo games sell Nintendo consoles. Whereas like when we start stretching our legs more, it starts to become in PlayStation more. It starts to become, oh man, I really missed this thing, but I know it's third party and I know
Yeah.
it had a license and I know yada yada yada.
Yeah,
And
it's
also
like-
it's like the jig's up on these. Where
Uh-huh.
it's like, you know, NES was like, what the fuck? That's awesome. And then I hope they SNES. Oh my God, they did NES. And I was like, all right, cool. And here's, okay, well, everybody else can stop. Like, we
All
don't
right, Commodore
need,
64.
We don't need
All right,
that.
TurboGrafx.
Yeah, exactly. You can stop what you're doing. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Like,
It's still cool, but yeah, we're going to hit a point where it's like, I'm still excited to see how they do Game Boy. I feel like they will at some point, but I just don't know what that would look like. But
it'll look like this.
oh my God,
You know what I
actually,
mean?
damn, you figured it out, Greg.
Figured it out.
Pretty stoked about it. Is there any game that you're, besides Spider-Man, that you're upset's not part of this?
I mean, for me personally, Spider-Man's such the one. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? From a more historical outlook, or at least looking back at like what the Genesis. It's also the thing that the Genesis collection, again, to Fran's point, right, of like that has been put out so many times and is a great platinum trophy. Like covered the bases so well as well. It's just I don't. Well, I mean, yeah, you talked about it earlier with Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, sure, that was a great one, Sega one. I mean, NHL '94. Like, remember the Sega sports games were always so great.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
the sports games on Sega were so great. But yeah, it's the exact same situation we're talking about in terms of licensing. Who's got that? How you gonna get the rights from that person? These people signed their, you know, likenesses away, thinking it would be one game, and in a year nobody would care.
Here we are.
Here we
All
are
these years
buying
later.
mini versions of them. Give me a mini Joe Montana frame.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week. But until then, we're going to talk to the post show. Patreon supporters, get hyped.
I feel like he got the intro down, and then every time we get to the outro, we just jump out the plane. We
Well,
see what
it's-
happens.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Why don't you just start saying that? We're done. That's it. Done. Post
Well,
show.
great point, Fran. We're done. Turn to the camera.
We're done. Sorry, guys. Post show time. Then there's no argument about it either.
It's true. Yeah.
It's just it's happening.
Michael James says N64 games would be horrible. In my opinion, those games hold up the least.
What is that supposed to mean?
I saw a
sir?
tweet recently that
The
I totally
visuals?
agree with. That GoldenEye might be the game that aged least well
Yeah.
of all time.
Although
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those games had so much frame rate issues and the resolution. You know, a lot of stuff was 320.
Well, it's not even that, but just the
240.
gameplay itself.
Yeah.
The gameplay itself is just bad to go back to.
I'm gonna
now.
ask you to leave.
No,
Dude, have you played?
Have you played that in
No,
the
I
last 5 years?
Yeah, maybe I have.
Okay,
Like,
that's a no.
That's a hard
no,
no.
I may have
'Cause
actually.
you would've
'Cause I've
remembered
gone to
how
these conventions and
fucking
they always
sad
got
it
them
is.
sitting there. I don't
right.
remember though, but I do.
Convenient.
Trust me, it's rough. It's hard to control, but I don't know. I think that here's the deal. What I'm thinking most about is that like 2D games hold up because of the way they control and look, and they have a retro vibe, and the controls are simpler, but they work for what it is. Where those were exploring 3D controls for the first time, and that's why they don't age well. Like everything is so archaic. You're like, like it's so sluggish compared to where we're at today. I mean, even Borderlands. You know, you go back and play the first Borderlands versus
yeah,
3. It's like a huge difference. You're like, I don't want to play this Borderlands. I can't wait for 3 to be here. So.
Greg, are you gonna watch Succession season 2?
Already started, brother. You
Yeah,
kidding
is it
me?
good?
Yeah.
There
I
is
wanna
some
watch
really
this
good
season
stuff.
one.
Yeah, you should. Oh, you haven't watched season 1?
N64.
No.
Like
Dude,
Banjo
yes.
Kazooie,
Yeah.
awesome.
You know what? You're
Games like
fired.
Blast
Go home
Corps.
and watch it.
Yeah.
But we
Sorry.
found them out.
I thought it was a side. My
Yeah.
bad.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that does hold up.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is GoldenEye, though.
Yeah.
I don't think a game holds up worse than GoldenEye in the history of
I feel
games.
like I've seen people playing multiplayer still, and even though it's a little like goofy, it was still a lot of fun. So I don't know.
I challenge you to
Yeah.
find a game that you think holds up less well.
Turok.
Oh yeah, Turok.
But Turok, nobody was like.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a fall from grace of GoldenEye.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, a game that was like super highly regarded.
Yeah, and now I was like, oof. This is
Did you
bad.
catch Fran breaking Embargo? I don't. I
Stranding.
didn't. Oh yeah, Death Stranding. Yes,
yeah,
I did.
Yeah. Mario Kart for Nintendo 64. I don't know.
It was awesome. Mario Kart 64.
I don't know if that holds up though.
I mean,
Yes, it
compared
does.
to the more modern ones, it definitely
Battle mode
doesn't.
and
It's
everything
still
holds
fun,
up.
but just even visually, like the look of it,
No,
where
yeah.
you're controlling the character more
They're
so
on a
than like,
stick.
yeah, it's like it's
They had
such
a
a
lot of,
weird
like,
look.
Yeah.
Camera on a
I will
stick.
say the
Battle mode,
soundtrack for that one though, probably the
great.
best one. Just saying.
No,
Nah,
Mario
dude.
Kart 8, man, dude, that jazz influence is dope as hell.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good stuff on there though. But I hear what you're saying. Pokemon Puzzle League
Hell.
might hold up the best.
Oh, definitely.
Then that's what. See, there you go.
Undeniably.
Like,
But that's-
style controls. Like it doesn't need anything more, so it holds up. But
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. GameCube, that was a banger though.
GameCube was a
GameCube
banger.
had some good
N64
stuff.
had a couple amazing games.
Oh yeah, quite a few. It's just they're
Road
easily
Rash
forgotten.
64.
I think. Oh no.
Sightbite 64.
Paperboy 64.
Paperboy 64, dude.
64.
Never forget.
Sightbite was awesome. Mario, Banjo Kazooie,
Ocarina of Time,
in its time.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, of course, Ocarina of Majora's. Pokemon Puzzle League.
What a great game.
Joey would say
Oh well,
Pokemon
and obviously
Snap.
Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not my preference. I'm a melee person, but it's still a lot of fun.
Ignacio Rojas says the PS1 Harry Potter games don't hold up visually. That is true.
I won't argue against that one.
He says I still love them though.
It's so hot.
Better
Benjamin
than it was. I feel
Ernst
like it's
says
better
Quest
than it was.
64 for a real throwback. I never played Quest 64.
The fuck is Quest
Wait, did that
64?
come out? Why am I feeling like that never came out? Is that a?
The RPG?
Yeah, it was.
It came out.
Did that actually come out? I think it was one of those that was delayed
Yeah.
so much
Yeah, it was.
that by the time it came out, and
No one
it's- I don't recall if it was any good in the end.
THQ. Wow.
Oh, they published it over here, but
How about that?
I wonder what happened with Conquer. You know?
oh,
like at what
Conker's
point?
Bad Fur Day is awesome.
Yeah, it is. But at
Oh,
what
man,
point
yeah.
were
Took
people
too long to
like,
get out.
hey, we're going to take Conquer from
Two Tails.
'cause, like Two Tails, Lucky Tails, like I'm just a nice little fox.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we're going to make him Nick Scarpino. What?
Well, I'm sure there's quotes, and I remember kind of talking to him about it, but it was definitely, oh man, Diddy Kong Racing 2. That it just was not going to happen, basically. They canned it, and I think it sat there, and it's probably one of those where they threw out a crazy idea, and someone, like, who knows, made a small demo or something and was like,
So weird.
let's do this. How they ever got Nintendo to do that.
Nintendo needed it then. It was
They really did, yeah, because
they
nobody
needed
took them
games on the
seriously.
N64 and they needed like some edge.
Yes.
That's interesting. I didn't realize how late it came out in the N64 cycle.
Oh, yeah, it was like the end.
2001. That's
Yeah.
wild.
It was basically the end
Because
of the
when did
lifespan.
GameCube come out?
2001.
It came out that it came out
Later that
like
year.
just before GameCube came out. It was the end of the life cycle. Perfect.
And then they remastered.
Dude, remember this?
Oh.
Dude, it's such a clever game. Such a clever game. Awesome music.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it holds up anymore,
Doesn't.
but
It really
It's funny
doesn't.
though. It was such an awesome game because they created all these different like control puzzle, like the scenarios were just so different that you change your controls up, which is definitely not usual.
Yeah.
People normally would never do something like that. Like the ending was from Matrix. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got that, I was like, what is
cool.
happening? This is so cool. Like at the time, it was amazing.
And the poop sang.
Oh, yeah.
I am the great mighty poop.
Yeah, I was about to say that might be one of the funniest boss fights ever.
Funny story. I got in trouble from
we go.
with Nintendo because I went to a Conker's Bad Fur Day event, and it was one of my first things that I ever did. And the good little reporter that I am, like I brought my audio recorder and like sat down at the event, and like everybody else is, by the way, at the time is from magazines and just, you know, they were awesome too, but they had it a lot easier because they like had a month to sit on whatever just happened, where I was like, we got to get this up tonight. Anyway, so they did the event, they did like a big presentation. They showed us that and they said no footage, you know, no photos, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
They
okay.
didn't say no audio.
They didn't say no audio.
Fucking
So
Fran.
welcome to the internet,
press sneak fuck.
Nintendo. And I put an audio file up of the song, and they like could not believe that I did that. And they were sort of furious. Like,
Understandably so.
not at all. They
Read
said
between the lines,
they
asshole.
know. They said no photos or video. Like, of course not. Oh, I'm sorry. Like,
No,
absolutely not.
I see both sides.
Yeah.
If you were in this position, I think what Greg is saying is a reporter doing their due diligence would say, may I have permission to post my audio file?
I actually I don't remember if I was allowed to record, you know, the actual, or I was allowed to record the transcription stuff. And I
Right.
think I might have even asked them, can I put that up if I want? And I don't remember the exact.
If you do that and they
I
say
I
can't
yes,
don't
believe I
then
remember
wouldn't
the
have done this
exact
scenario.
answer he says, of course.
It wasn't that,
Convenient.
honestly, it wasn't that big a deal in my opinion, but they were like, it was crazy. And well, we agreed, I believe we agreed to take it down at the time. We're like, yeah, like fine, like no problem.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know. Okay. That was like the first time I got in big trouble with Nintendo.
He asked
the
for
last.
forgiveness, not permission, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. That's what a good reporter
That's
really
a
does.
good way to get yourself
Really does.
blacklisted.
It's odd. So here's what annoys me about it. Like we could put up the lyrics and stuff. So I think this was the conversation I had. I'm like, so I can transcribe this is all fine. We can talk about them. Absolutely, you know. And I was like, great, you know, I recorded. I'll just put it up. What's the difference? You hear every word. I mean, who cares if you hear the music? It's amazing music, by the way. Robin Bean did an amazing job. What's the problem?
You know
Oh
Nintendo,
well,
though.
we only want people to read it. Meaning,
What's the problem?
music on the internet, you normally, well, it's a licensing thing. That wasn't the issue. It was just how dare you put that up? But you put up a full transcription of the song. What's the difference? See what I'm saying, Tim?
And
It
what
seems
happened?
ridiculous.
Matt Casamassina did what he best. He rolled over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
For big
rolled
Papa
over.
Nintendo.
Papa Nintendo.
was a
Michael
long
James
time
says
ago.
Enter the Matrix was good.
You say that and just walk away from it.
Yeah.
Actually,
no.
despite the gaffes in Matrix, I'm still down
Which one
with
was
the
that? Was that the
trilogy.
one?
Enter the Matrix was
the
like
first one,
the
isn't it?
big PS2 game that was
Oh, the
just like
game. Sorry.
Yeah,
Is that the
was
one
like-
that tied into the movie and I was playing as Jada Pinkett Smith
Yes,
and somebody else?
exactly.
I remember
Shiny
that. I
Entertainment
played
did it.
that.
and it was like such a big deal, and then
I
it came
remember
out
that.
and it was like such a whatever.
Dave.
It wasn't horrible. It was
Yeah,
just
I
whatever.
remember enjoying
but
it.
that and was it Brutal Legend on Xbox?
Yeah,
Brute
Brutal-
Force, Brute Force,
Oh,
not
okay.
Brutal Legend.
Oh, no, Brute Force, no.
Were like the two games that were like these are going to be it, and then
yeah,
oh god,
I got friggin' hoodwinked on that.
Yeah.
Like, remember, you remember Kaiser? He came in and told us, this guy that worked at IGN, good friend of mine, by the way, but came in and he's
Who
like,
I'm not about
it's
to talk
amazing.
massive shit about.
It's so cool. You guys, you're not gonna believe it. That's how he kind of talked at the time. So all of us, my roommates that worked at IGN, we like got super stoked, bought the game, you know, at GameStop that day, came home, loaded our TVs up, got some drinks, and like we played it for like 40 minutes. And I think I remember like leaning out my door like, what is going on? This is terrible. Am I the only one? Like,
Dude, it was
and
so
we were
hyped up,
convinced
man.
he was drunk the whole time.
8.1
or something.
IGN.
8.1.
He reviewed it though,
Ridiculous.
I think, and
That's so funny.
It was honestly those scores.
83 Game Informer.
You can see how the influence of the hype. Look at Team Xbox.
96.
Insane.
Dude, it was. I mean, I remember
That game
the
was like a 60.
OXM.
G4 and
That gave it an 80 out of 100 came with the demo disc.
GameSpot.
It was the first OXM I ever bought because I was like, oh, I got to play this goddamn game. Because back then, the Xbox, it was Halo, Splinter Cell, and KOTOR. That's it. And they're like, this motherfucker, you guys need some more games. Like, you need some reasons for people to be playing this system. And this
Gentlemen.
was supposed to be it.
I think I've decided this conversation's too nerdy for me.
Whatever. Brute force, Andrea.
Thank you,
Also,
Andrea. We'll see you
I have to
Gotta
go
go.
get ready for our West Coast taping tonight.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Always a
Bye,
pleasure.
guys.
Well, good
Bye.
night,
Great
Andrea.
seeing you.
It's over.
This
We gotta wrap it
is
up.
crazy. Is
We
the
also have a
game
call.
broke
Yeah, I know.
Xbox sales records
call for.
of both first day and first week sales, beating out even Halo. That's
See,
fucking wild.
No, but think about this. Halo was a launch title. So it was limited by how much it could sell. Whereas the Brute Force was years in. So it's like that's still impressive.
Was he
But
talking how much it sold the first day or something?
And
Yeah.
first
Oh,
week.
yeah. Install
Yeah,
base is
first
very
week.
different, but still, that hype, somehow
That
they
day.
built the hype for that.
yeah,
Good
that
job
was
on
the
you.
thing is like that was a example of hype.
It's
being
because it was
overblown.
like a big co-op game, especially too, and at the time there just wasn't a lot of that. So.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you later.